We're good.
Like when we warm this place up a little bit. Whether that we have to have a. Okay. It is 2:02 or 14:02, depending on how you want to look at this. Are we recording?
Yes, we're good. We're recording.
Of the Georgetown Public, Directors of the Board, Georgetown Public Utility District meeting. Board of Directors. We have to start first. I'm turning this over to Nick, concerning certain issues that we have at this meeting.
We have a board member, Director McDonald, who would like to appear remotely due to an emergency circumstance, and is this allowed under the Brown Act? Director McDonald, I need you to state what is said in your text message there, Cam, please. Can you hear us, Mitch? I think
you're muted. He's muted. You're muted.
Oh, Mitch, you have to unmute, please.
Well, that's for him to talk. He still should be able to hear us. Yeah.
He's trying to talk.
Now you're still muted. You're still muted. Still muted.
Okay, there. Okay. Let me go back to my. Okay. I'm requesting the board permit me to attend remotely due to a physical emergency that prevents me from attending in person. If there's no one else in the room over 18, and that's it.
For some reason.
So yeah, I'm gonna mute you again just because you got a little bit of an echo, and then if you need to unmute, just go ahead and unmute. Okay, Mitch?
Yeah, the reason you hear an echo is because I have a computer here. In the event that I get a call from the doctor, I'll take the call, but then I'll be off video camera.
You can't go off camera, Mitch.
That's right. So that's why my wife's computer is on me now. If I go off audio,
That'd be okay.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, as long as he's gonna turn the camera on the computer is what he's saying.
Yes, yeah.
This is him as well. So you can just use the computer if you like. And then you can not use the phone if that would be easier, because he's right here.
Okay.
That's like leaving the meeting.
I would say if you had a call, Mitch,
Yeah.
something personal, just ask for a recess and let's just take a brief recess. That's the cleanest way to handle it. Just like if you were here in person, you would either leave the meeting or take a recess. Since you can't leave the meeting when you're remote, let's just take a recess.
Okay. I was just trying to not impinge upon anybody's time.
I appreciate that, but I think the better thing is just to take a recess.
Clean it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me log out or figure out how to do that. Hear any echo now?
No, you're good now.
Okay, I'm as you requested. Thank you.
Okay. So to make this happen, we'll have a roll call vote of the present board members. At this point, since there's 3 in the room, I believe all 3 of you would have to agree to this. Director Saunders?
To allow him to appear remotely.
To allow him to appear remotely under AB 2449.
Aye.
Director Fisher?
Aye.
And Director Seaman?
Hi.
Okay. So you're good to go. Just keep your camera on. If you need to jump off, just let me know. You can wave, flag. We have you on the big screen, so we'll see you.
He's still at meeting.
Huh?
I'm running the meeting, so he needs to let me know.
I said us. I just said us. So.
No.
Yes, President Seaman, is Director Stovall there? I don't see him.
Roll call.
On his way.
President Donna Seaman,
Present.
Vice President Michael Saunders,
Present.
Robert Stovall is currently absent, Andy Fisher,
Present.
and Mitch McDonald.
Present.
Okay. Pledge allegiance. Andy, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Absolutely.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have, we're up to adoption of the agenda.
Madam President, I do have one edit to the agenda. We will not need to hear the public hearing at 6 AM or 6 PM. We can hear that as the meeting flows. So if we can vote on that adjustment while we vote on the adoption of the agenda. I have nothing other than public comment. So we got some public comments.
So, Sheree,
Public comment.
public comment
Just on the agenda, though.
on the adopted. I'm not up to public forum yet.
So if you're trying to remove something from the consent calendar, that comes with when you do the consent calendar. Or you
Yeah,
do have a-
that will be
That's what I
later.
want to, yes. Thank you.
Anything else? Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
motion.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Director Fisher,
Yes.
Director McDonald,
Yes.
Director Saunders,
Aye.
and President Seaman.
Aye. Okay. Public forum. I gotta read all those again. Pursuant to the Government Code, section 54954.3 Brown Act, members of the public shall be afforded the opportunity to speak on any agenda item. The board president will call for public comment. Those wishing to address the board on a matter that is not on the agenda and within the jurisdictional authority of the district may do so during the public forum. Follow the procedures for speaking. Public members desiring to provide comments must raise their hand, wait to be recognized by the board president, speak from the podium, and begin by stating their name. If participating via teleconference, please utilize your hand feature. The president will call upon you upon addressing you by the name or phone number indicated. Comments must be directed only to the board. Disruptive conduct shall be permitted at any board meeting. Presence in disruptive conduct should be grounds for summary termination of the privilege to address the board of directors. There is a 3-minute time limit per speaker or 15 minutes total. The board is not permitted to take action on items addressed under public forum. The board president is responsible for maintaining an orderly meeting. Do we have any public forum? Sheree.
I would like to make a comment on the 2 irrigation meetings in October and November were not properly notified. I didn't get emails. Yesterday, the one last month, I got it Monday and the meeting was on Tuesday. And then this one got canceled, but it was labeled special.
It was
So it
special.
was no big deal there.
Well,
But October and November were not properly. I received the one no email in October, I believe, and then the November one was late, so.
are there any other public comment? At this time, I'm closing public forum. Consent. Any directors want to pull any items on the consent calendar?
I don't.
I want to pull 4B.
Is that the one that our irrigation chair had in mind as well?
Yeah.
You guys don't have anything? Okay, any public comments?
I just didn't quite catch that. Are you, you're pulling 40?
That means we can talk about it.
We are gonna talk.
We are gonna talk.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then that will be things.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so do we have an approval of the, I didn't get any more public comments, right? Okay, approval of the consent calendar.
I make a motion to approve consent calendar item 4A.
Second?
Roll call vote.
Director Fisher,
Yes.
Director McDonald,
Yes.
Director Saunders,
Aye.
and President Seaman.
Aye. So. Item 4B. Anything?
I can. This was discussed at the finance committee, and we tried to discuss it at the irrigation committee a couple times. I made some changes. It was looked at by legal counsel, so whatever comments we have, absolutely, we can make additional adjustments to it. So however you want to handle that.
Okay, thank you. Are there any board members that have any comments on this?
Yeah, let's see what the public comments is. Same.
Okay, I'm opening it up to public. Christie?
I'm supposed to make item chair of the irrigation committee. I have not seen the final changes that are being proposed. Is there a copy?
It's in the packet right here.
Yeah,
Was there up there? There's a folder, or did they bring the folder?
That's right here.
Nick's got it, right?
Right here. I highlighted the changes for the most part. If you look at the staff report, it includes all the changes.
That's what you pulled out, right?
Yeah, if you had, did you receive the irrigation packet that we emailed?
No?
Or we emailed you on Monday, an irrigation packet, it was in there. No, well, you wouldn't have got it because you're not there. It was before.
Okay, I'm not seeing a lot of things on email.
Okay. I can pull it up on here if you guys want to discuss what's on here. I have it right here. We adjusted.
adjusted 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the staff report because it includes also. So we adjusted the number 3, and you can see the highlighted changes. One of the things we discussed was if you miss 3 within 12 months, then you have the ability to be terminated. It's all dependent upon the board, though. We also removed the civil. We also changed it to a civil majority for a quorum. Because one of them had to be 4, which is not the way it works. They will be a 2-year term starting on January 1st of the even years. So next year will be the start of a term. The end of the term will be the odd years. So that's where the 2 years lie. Removal, again, that's why I said the 12 months, 2 times. We removed the secretary position because with having the executive assistant, that position doesn't do a lot. So it's you can, I mean, if you want to keep that, that's fine. We did change the board liaison to be less of a need to be in the room person so that they can attend remotely if they need to. So their attendance is not required in person. We also made a recommendation that the board treasurer and 1 other director be on the finance committee. Now, finance committee. Board treasurer.
Oh, this is all changing.
Yes. And then specifically for irrigation committee, you can read the changes to the board liaison. Again, it's the same changes. And then one major change that we did remove was does not need to reside within the district boundaries. So we changed it to all applicants who are current irrigation water customers will be eligible for consideration by the board.
Can I ask you one quick question on,
Please.
you said the board liaisons,
Yeah.
you removed that part. Where is that in here highlighted?
I put the language that we put in here. So we had already discussed that at the last board meeting. The highlighted changes were what I changed. Let me see if I can find the dirty copy.
Just at a high level, the specific changes, I don't remember the specific verbiage that was changed. But the intent was there was some ambiguity in the committee policies as it relates to whether the board liaison is a member of that body for purposes of the Brown Act.
Right.
And we want to make very clear they are not members of that body. So that was the heart of the changes.
Right, I'm just asking where, if that was your recommendation.
It was Frank's.
Right, if that
Frank's
was,
work.
if that was the legal representation, where is that in here?
I doesn't seem like the dirty copy came over with all the changes the right way.
Go ahead.
Right, this is what we discussed last meeting. It's reflected in board liaisons, sections B and C are the changes.
And there is a typo, there's an extra B in there that we will remove.
Right, but it doesn't say. It doesn't say about calling in versus
No,
being
no,
present.
No, let me clarify that because.
And that's what he just said. So
Right.
That's what I wanna get
Let me,
clarified.
I was actually thinking about clearing that. The purpose of the change was not so a board member can or cannot be there, the change was to make it clear that they're not a member of the body for purposes of the Brown Act. They're not a member of that committee.
Okay,
And the effect of that is, the consequence of that is, then they have more flexibility if they want to attend remotely, because they don't have to zoom in because they're no longer a member of that body. They can just zoom in like any member of the public can. That's the effect of that change, but there were no changes to the policy
okay, cause
that
what,
did that.
what we're gonna have and run into later is have to get that reclarified again, so. If that can be somewhere where that information is laid out.
Well, I think that,
I can send you what was removed. I can pull it up if you like.
Cause what I'm telling you is, I understand where Frank's coming from on that legal part of it, but. We're going to, at some point, run into it again, where we're gonna have to have a legal opinion. I mean,
I think
we
that,
may or may not, yeah, we will. Cause we always have to have it
Well-
reconstituted. So that's what I'm asking is if we could have this, you know. And this may mean, so you have, for quorum persons, the liaison shall not have a vote. Which means the liaison also is not required to be present at each meeting. Or you're shaking your head, but you know this is what comes up
No,
every time.
I think the liaison has to be present, but if they are not present in person, what the lawyer brought up before was the fact that the policy was unclear if we were actual members, and if we were actual members, for us to teleconference in, we would have to follow the full rules of the Brown Act, like posting it or using the just cause one. This way, if we are not actual voting members and it's made clear we're advisory, we are able to now zoom in without using those full teleconference rooms, so we can just be a member of the public because we're advisory and not voting. So that was brought up, but the same applies where only two of us can be there, and it should be the liaisons, because the same thing applies if someone else shows up. That's three, that's a Brown Act violation.
If one isn't there and another one shows up, then it wouldn't be a Brown Act violation.
Correct, but then
So then that's
And the
what I'm saying,
question
there's
is-
ramifications for.
the question there is, if that occurs, then can I talk to
Sheet
the
C,
director?
it
that
says
was
in,
there?
it says in C, it says. No more than two board members can be present on any of the committee meetings. If there are three board members present at the committee meeting, the board liaison are authorized to request a non-liaison board member to leave.
That's not what I'm asking.
You're
I'm
worried about
saying
the
that-
serial meeting issue.
Let me try this again. Don't look at him because you need to be facing me. What I'm saying is, if there's two board liaisons, one doesn't show up, can't make it, whatever, that means another board member could show up. And that would not become, because that was what we ran into before, that would have been a Brown Act violation if, say, Mitch decided to come to, the, irrigation committee because I couldn't make it. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, it would not be, in my view, that would not be a Brown Act violation.
So then we could do that,
Yes.
just to make sure there was two. If we decided we could do that, where we couldn't do that before, because it was construed that if the two original ones weren't there, one went away, another one came up. That was like a violation, where now you're saying we can do that because of your clarification here.
Yes, and at that particular meeting, you won't have 3 there.
Correct.
So
I'm
at
just
that-
talking always two.
Correct, so that's not going to be an issue.
Okay, let's try this again. Go ahead.
So in that situation, the liaison must also notify that they're not gonna be there so that the president can assign someone. And I think that's in the, I think we put that in there somewhere.
Well, but we didn't go down that path before.
Right, but I think it's,
We
in-
removed that part actually.
all right.
Yeah, so
So
we
we
can
just
have,
to-
we can have 2 board members present at all committee meet as long as there's not 3.
Correct.
That's what I want to get through. Do we have any more comments from the public? Since I sort of cut you guys off, sorry.
I have a question, that's a technical question. If this policy is approved today, does it become law today, or does it have to be in writing and then becomes law? I'm using the word law loosely.
By resolution, it'll be take effect today.
It would take effect today. So any parts of it that are in there could be acted upon,
Correct.
and does that have to be within the scope of this particular discussion?
I'm not sure I understand that part of the question.
Well, there's the aspect of things having to be agendized. So if there is action to be taken
Oh, you can't.
pursuant to an item that's being approved today,
I'm
would
sorry.
be,
So if we had people that were multiple people that have not been attending meetings for
Mhm.
this
Mhm.
in the past year, can it be acted upon to have these people removed this meeting, or do we need to have a special agendized item on January's meeting to do that?
I think that's a good question. I think that the issue is not when that policy goes into legal effect. I think the question is whether that policy itself has retroactivity.
I don't think that's what they're asking. I think they're asking if they.
That would be-
No, I think that is what they're
It's
asking.
both, but yes,
I think the question they're asking is when is it going into effect, but I think the question they're really getting at is, can we use it retroactively?
yes.
For example, 3 members a person who's missed 3 or more meetings in the last 12 months, and I would say no. The policy itself needs to state it can be applied retroactively for you to be able to apply it retroactively. So on a go forward basis, if somebody misses 3 meetings, for example, then you could apply the policy. But if someone missed 3 meetings in the last year, but the policy wasn't in effect yet, unless this policy says the policy retroactively applies for the last year or 2, you can't apply it to something that happened in the past.
So the committee would have to, and the board would have to wait 1 full year before we can apply this policy.
Correct. If we want to change the policy,
Or we could change it at this point to
we could
Say
put,
put that word in it.
we could, if the board wants to make it retroactive, the board can do that. This is not like, in the criminal law world, you can't have retroactive crimes, right? Because that would be a constitutional due process issue.
Right.
This is not constitutional due process stuff, so you could do that in this policy.
Sometimes. I'll let you try.
My turn. I had 2 things. So, I mean, the board could remove a committee member for any reason at any time, right?
Correct, yeah.
So what we're really doing, I mean, the major thing we're doing here is giving an expectation of people coming onto these committees of what the expectation of faithfulness is to the meetings, right? So we could I'd be fine with putting in retroactive, but I'm not sure it's necessary.
May I,
But
I'm sorry, I didn't put you out there. I just want to jump in when you're done.
ask the president.
Yeah, whenever you're ready, I have some information that you might want to know.
Okay. I had one other, related to this item, but not to this part of the discussion. So I don't know if you want to come back to me after we settle this one.
I go with it. Director Saunders.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with retroactive, but chiming in with what Director Fisher says, remember the board can remove at will. This gives a framework. If your irrigation committee has a problem, especially since you're full and you would like to have more members in, you can always bring that up at a meeting. Make sure you notify those people beforehand, so if there was an issue and then there was no problem removing, so I don't think it has to be retroactive, you just kind of going forward, it's known as a policy, and just make sure you alert those members
I
that.
kind of admit, my thought on it is this whole, because it's been going on for well, the last 6 months has been rough trying to get anything, hold up. To get the people to show up or let us know what's going on with them, etc. So I think at this time, I would be more geared to do the retro, but not necessarily. I think that the whole professional way to do it would be to talk to the people and verify that they're not coming, or they, put them on notice of what has happened. And then see how they will work, how we can work through this. But I think, because of, the frustration that the board members that do show up have been going through. And I think we're gonna get recommendations from that, like in irrigation committee. We do need to look at it at least a certain amount of period back. So, yeah,
to maybe help with the retroactivity and the quell the discussion. I have received 2 resignations from the committee. So that would probably alleviate the need to do retroactivity. I can't tell you who they are because I was going to bring them to the January meeting and have them on the agenda for the board to accept the resignations.
do you have a comment on this?
I would just like to express my frustration. Because the litigation committee has been impacted tremendously by lack of quorum. There was no meeting in October. I was the only one who arrived here. There was no meeting in November, and there was no meeting members of the committee. And then because the November meeting had no quorum, we scheduled a repeat in December, and it also had no quorum. And so this very topic was supposed to have come up much earlier and been presented to the board much earlier. But because of the lack of quorum, which this addresses specifically, we have not been able to do so. So I'm very disappointed and frustrated that it's going to take until January to have a full functioning committee.
Oh, this is niche comment.
Somebody talking in the background?
It's his.
So,
Okay. Another thing.
Director Fisher, I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah, and to kind of wrap up this conversation, whether we go with retroactive or not, sounds like it may be moot now. I mean, this is not intended to be a 3 misses and you're out law. This is really intended to address the problem and give an expectation for people coming on. Now with that, I want to make a suggestion, and I think I would also suggest that our irrigation chair be given a chance to respond, because I think we started talking about this. Under section 5, selection of committee members, all applicants who reside within the district boundaries and are current irrigation water customers. The change would eliminate reside within district boundaries, I think is good. I would suggest our current or eligible irrigation water customers. I think in my mind, you're really looking for the best pool of minds being on the committee that have something to contribute. Myself, for example, I'm an eligible irrigation committee member, or an eligible irrigation customer, but I don't currently get irrigation water. I think there's probably a pool of folks in that. I mean, we've lost a fair number of irrigation folks in the last several years who have something to contribute to irrigation committee and voices we may want to hear. So I would suggest that it be modified to say our current or eligible irrigation water customers, to kind of just broaden that pool. Again, everybody who applies has to be approved by the board. So if somebody applies that's not a good candidate, they can always be passed over. But I just in general like to cast a little broader net for who's eligible.
Would you be more interested in people that had previously been a customer rather than eligible, but never has been a customer, because that would trigger that they have really no knowledge base on the irrigation system and how it works?
Well, again,
That would
we
be,
get an application and it's a really good applicant, but they've you know, they're eligible, but they never have it. I'm just tending to want to cast a little broader net for who's eligible.
I would, I think you have a word issue with eligible, because technically every district customer is eligible.
Yeah.
It's just if they want to pay to get it to them.
Yeah.
So I think that does create a little bit of an issue, and I understand why the committee has the certain people that it has on it that are actual customers, because they are actually making decisions for what is actually happening in their system. If you add that eligible, it would, there's no limit to that. Any customer within the district, even those folks who are not customers could become, so they could be like a well owner, because they would still be eligible at some point to potentially have irrigation water.
Yeah, I think kind of, that's kind of how I was looking at it too, is that, you know, we have people, everybody's eligible. Well,
So,
90% of them are eligible. There's a few that probably could never be, but
and everybody could be, as long as you want to, the problem is paying for it and getting it to you. It's all a matter of how you get the water.
and we want knowledge base too, you know, because I think the committee that we've had has been very knowledgeable on using the system, and I think that has perpetuated the information that's been coming out of irrigation. Because if you notice, this last year or two, we've gotten a lot of good moving forward on the irrigation system and recommendations to the board.
I will share one more anecdote, if you will. I have received information from two other committee members. One is likely going to resign, has not made the final decision yet, and one other one is potentially going to resign as well. So you may have a complete turnover on the committee, where you have a lot of people who are much more interested in participating. I understand where the concern is, and I'm hearing from the public where the concern is. I think we're getting to a point where we can get through that, we can get past that. And I hate to say it, but if you can be a little bit patient with us until the February irrigation meeting, I'm hoping that we have a whole new committee by then. That'll be much more
Well, it'll
active.
be the January, hopefully it's the January board meeting.
I said, by the irrigation committee for February should have a new committee sitting
Right.
ready to work.
But in order for that to happen, the announcement has to go out that there are openings.
As
And
soon
then
as,
people have to apply, they have to be approved.
correct,
Are they gonna be in place by February?
they, I've already received interest. So I will tell you, I've received 2 interests.
Okay.
For potential additions to the committee. So yes, I think that you will have enough people, hopefully, that are interested in participating.
Okay. In answer to,
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
if I may speak,
Go ahead.
to Board Director Fisher's comment, I would concur with Nick that I think it does have to be somebody who is well acquainted with the irrigation system. I don't have a problem with adding former customers, because they may be able to give us insight as to why they left.
But whatever language you guys want, that's fine. I mean,
So it would be, you know, current or former account holders. I
Okay.
don't have a problem with that. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying I don't have a problem with that.
I think you have one other issue when it comes to that, and I'll just bring this up. Could be a former customer who has moved to an area where they will never be able to get it as stated in the cost. So you have, language is important, especially on these, so we have to be really careful what words we use.
Right.
So I would, to keep it as clean as possible, you wanted people that are active. You want to have people that are already using the system, using the service as making those decisions.
So if I'm not
Go ahead.
that thought, I won't include that in a motion then, but I like to kind of keep it in our consciousness that if we are having trouble getting people, we are finding people who are just sort of, gee, they'd be great if they didn't, get screened out by that narrow wording, we could revisit this maybe in the future.
We had 400 people. Director Saunders.
Yeah, in terms of previous or former, I think there could be a meeting where they're invited, where they could give their feedback. The reason I wouldn't want them to be on the committee is one of the major things that we do have with the irrigation customers is to help us determine when the length of the irrigation season should start and end. And a former customer isn't a customer anymore, so providing what's going on now is really important. That's been very good for having the irrigation customers tell us, let's go 2 weeks back or 2 weeks ahead. That's an important feedback that we have that we never had before. So that's a real boon to have the irrigation customers that are active deliver that.
I really like your suggestion of having a meeting and inviting previous customers in for not a forum, not a special event, just in one of our regular meetings, make it known. I like that.
Are we done with?
Big agenda.
Do you have anything, Mitch?
You're muted. Mitch.
Okay, thank you. I got a head check. Okay, can I have a motion? How we want to move forward on this item?
All motion of the approval of the changes as submitted.
Second,
Roll call vote?
Director Fisher,
Yes.
Director McDonald,
Yes, aye.
Director Saunders,
aye.
President Seaman.
Aye. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. We're up to Office Finance Managers Report. Ding, ding, ding.
If there's any questions, I'm ready to take them.
I have a question. What is Soulberry Industries?
Salisbury Industries is, the company uses to get rent lockers for their crews.
Oh, that's for the rebuild
Yeah.
of the locker room? Okay. We have one more. Okay. You guys don't have anything? Let them know.
Nope, nothing.
No. Okay, is the best bets in, I don't pronounce it
Krieger.
correctly, is that 66,000 for the total year, or is that just for the last, it says from 7/1 to 10/31? So for the last 3 months, 4 months,
Correct.
we've spent $66,000?
Are you looking at the vendor purchasing report?
Yes, I am.
That's year to date. So July 1st to present.
Oh, yes, so it's July 1st, 25 to July to 10/31.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's 66,000. And then Ferguson Enterprises at 103. Is that still those meters?
That was AMI purchases through the appropriations funded from the state. So the
New?
actual, yeah, well, it's new, yeah, but it's the equipment that goes on top of the tanks to read the meters continuously. That was part of
Not to be,
that funding right there.
not to be confused with when we put the meters in
No,
for the
separate,
public.
separate.
Yeah,
But that AMA does impact the public because that gives the public through WaterSmart access to their meters.
Okay.
24/7.
I think that came out of the grant too, correct?
What, the AMI part?
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
so that was paid for through the grant, that check came.
okay,
We just saw-
okay, and then the other one is there's on opengov.inc, 194,000.
Correct, that's the whole first year of OpenGov. So that's the implementation and the first year of service from OpenGov. That's the new ERP service that we're using. We're getting rid of Tyler.
Oh, okay, I got it.
So they're the asset management, billing, they're gonna be a one-stop shop for everything that has money, accounting, anything. It's a everything.
So this is part of the total amount that we approved.
Correct.
And then the other. So it's the $76 on WaterSmart our quarterly cost or
But that was,
WaterSmart? 76.85. Is that we have to pay a partial payment to them for something?
I don't know, I have to look into that. I'm not sure what's
What
the
report are you looking at?
same.
The last page, 3 of 3,
Same report, vendor purchasing report.
yeah, and at the end it's,
I know we do pay annual cost, but I don't
it's
know.
a software. It says water smart, is that what we pay every quarter for them, or is that for a year, or what?
No, we pay a lot more than that.
Yeah.
What page do you have?
Great,
I didn't put tabs in there, so.
okay.
Page 3,
Yeah, page,
the vendor purchasing report.
it's still under the purchasing.
this is my test for the questions I had to put in. Okay, I don't know if I have the vendor purchase report.
Hand that to her.
I don't know. There's no way to know by this. I'd have to look up the check and the check detail,
Okay,
so. It's a lot more than that, I can tell you that.
Our normal annual subscription.
so would that be like an extra cost? That they might have billed us for
Could have
something?
been a service.
They do mailing, but we don't do mailing through that.
Mm-mm.
We'll find out and get the answer to you. Then it's the invoice.
Okay,
We can keep this, you know. I remember.
Sure. okay, where'd you say? Okay, the next, do we have any comment on the investment report? First quarter? Grant reports? Yes, sir.
Just one comment, so, when is the next in-person review for the investment?
It's on, I can tell you as soon as we're done with the meeting. I think it's February. I think we do it February, it's every 6 months. So I want to say it's February.
But from all the investment meetings that I attend, which is all the other agencies, it doesn't look like there's any need to redistribute any of the funding that we have.
No, we did receive some recommendation to put a little bit of money back into the LAIF fund. LAIF is at 4.1% and what we're at now is at 4.03. We have not done it yet because part of the investment report does state that we need to have liquidity, and so the class that we're using has more same day liquidity than LAIF does. And so we haven't made that change. I'm still working with our investment partners on how much we need to keep in the class account to make it
Yeah, we have.
follow their policy.
Okay, Mitch?
Yeah, looking forward, Fred lowered interest rates a quarter point today, so we might see a slight downward adjustment of about 6% of our current yield moving forward on shorter term maturities under 5 years. That's all I have.
Thank you.
And then, Madam President, would you just make an announcement that?
I'm trying to. Do we have any public questions? Go ahead, Sheree.
Okay. Check 2511 E-Source Companies.
E-Source and our water audit.
Oh.
That we do every year. They were I think WSO or something. The E-Source, yeah.
The one that you did in the spring.
Alexis does it, but yeah, so we do the audit, and they get validated, that's part of state regulations, they get validated.
For water loss, it's a SB 555.
Yeah. Okay, the JCOM 2518
That'd be the video that you'll see shortly.
and 2582 Elizabeth Olson, $40,000. Is that salary or work comp payout?
Not sure.
Any answer?
Yeah, please.
I was gonna say, look this way and tell me what you're gonna answer that as.
Yeah.
Yes.
You restate the question?
Is it wages? Cause she is an employee or was, or workers' comp?
I don't know enough about that to answer.
Nothing legal happens.
Cause I don't know what the check is. I just know there was a check.
That was the check,
B check.
the check.
Uh, that is it's considered ordinary wages.
So it's coming out of the wage category.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, wait a minute, I got.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then in the, I don't know what it is, but there were 7,000 something for lockers.
Yeah, that's what I asked him about.
Right, okay, so why are they going to professional services and not supplies or something like that? They're being charged to.
Should have been.
And they're not in the budget under professional services.
So they should be under materials,
They
as
should be,
we can make sure it's adjustments made.
Okay, so, and then, why did you leave out, waste? The guy doesn't get a locker?
Wait, he has a different location where he has a locker.
Yeah.
And then I think the CPA and the legal fees, this month CPA is 22,000, legal's 27,000. A year ago, CPA was 11,000 and legal was 19. And we went through that whole big rate study. I think it's like 50,000 in 1 month. It's pretty excessive.
Any other public comments?
That's just a notation that happened, or is there an explanation for the increase?
No, or
Between last year, a year ago? and now?
They don't have to answer it.
Oh, okay.
They ignore stuff. I just put it on the record.
are you, are that relating to this?
Well, public comments closed, waiting for that.
Okay, public comments closed.
So just that, are we going through the audit now?
No?
Yeah.
I know, we usually have the CPA increases with the audit, and we also are switching the, from Tyler to a different, source, so those could be the reasons why CPA is up.
Yeah. Okay, at this time, I'm announcing that Director Stovall has come to our meeting, and that was at 2:45 PM. So we are now doing it will be under roll call votes for every vote. Just to let you know how we're running. Yes. Okay, so we're done with the office manager's report. Nobody had anything on the grants?
There's no changes. It's all the same as it's been.
What's that one? Okay, I'm done. So now we're up to board reports. I have nothing here for in here. Do we have any director's board reports?
None here.
We have none. Director Stovall?
The last month I've attended several official functions. One was a JTBA conference in San Diego. Along with that was the Aqua Conference, and then also attended the Mountain County Conference over in Auburn. My notes in regard to those will be attached to the minutes. If there's any questions about that from board members, we can discuss it at the next board meeting.
Director Saunders?
Yep, my board report will be attached to the minutes as well, because we were at Aqua JPIA in San Diego. Some of the key things to bring back from the conference, one is with Aqua JPIA, once again, the district did receive the President's Special Recognition Award, which honors that we continue to have exceptional loss control. We've had low claims to premiums ratio under 20% for all of our programs. So that's liability, property, and workers' comp. So, and one thing that in the past, we used to get refunds checks because our JPIA is not for profit. So anything that went above our premium, we'd get back. However, they were putting those money into reserves to help keep a high shift in the medical benefit, the employee benefit side. Because you see, medical keeps going way up, and that's been able to keep us with 10 to 12% increase in our employee benefits as opposed to 15%. What they have seen is with the increases in their investments and having stable reserves, start providing those refund checks back again. So we may get refund checks back when we don't use our full premium. And the other big thing that was that came through the Headwaters Working Group, which we will see in the legislative report, was the Nature Conservancy was there, which started the Wildfire Coalition. Mountain Counties was one of the founding member. And we'll discuss joining that. That's a Wildfire Solutions Group that does advocacy for our Sierra Nevada people. And the Finance Committee, the big message there was investments are going well there as well. The investments they earned more than expected, and instead of a 2.5% increase in membership dues will only increase 1%. So our Aqua membership won't be as 2.5 increase, it'll be 1. So those were positive things brought back. And one of the special sessions I went to was for agency reserve levels. What should your reserves be? And I'll bring back some strategies for investments, unfunded liabilities, LIRA programs, and property tax rates, which I'll share with our finance committee to see what we can do.
Thank you. Mitch, do you have anything to add?
No, Madam.
Thank you.
I think it's trying to catch up as a no, Madam President, is what I heard.
He's froze. There it goes. Okay, I attended the Mountain County's Fall Water Forum. It was interesting. I did hear about, you know, there's a LIRA revenue fund, non-rate revenue fund. Anyway, Director Saunders is gonna go over that. It was interesting sitting around with the agencies that are significantly larger than us down in Southern California, how we are kind of non-essential personnel in that room. And they are the only ones that are of value. It was good. I didn't comment on what I thought of them, but at that point, I was a little surprised and shocked that they would be verbalizing that kind of information out. The conference was good, but the only reason I'm happy I got to go because I'm on the board of Mountain Counties and it doesn't cost the district anything for me to attend.
But to add on that, that was why we invited Metropolitan up, which is not only the largest water agency in California, probably the US, but it was also to let them know of what our resources are, what we benefit to them, and how investing in us would be of benefit. So hopefully we are working on partnerships with them so we can see some kind of revenue sharing or program sharing or some kind of infrastructure sharing with our projects that benefit both of us. So we don't have to use all of our resources and we start bringing in Southern California. So this is the beginning of the messaging.
Yeah.
I'm more optimistic than our president.
I had to sit next to him. Are there any public comments on our board reports? Questions? Okay. Operation managers report. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. So it's this month had a little more than just the normal report, so I'll go through it briefly. So I'll skip right to the CIP program. So we have our tank coating in this meeting. Canal line, we're still moving forward with that. Gate installation, you guys see that happening right now. Probably the next couple of weeks they'll be fully active. Filter inspection, that's happening actually yesterday and today as well. I'm getting great feedback and it's really good for the treatment plant at Sweetwater. From last board meeting, did receive one vehicle, the other one is on order. We expect that in January. General activities, there's no really updates there. Page 5, I did summarize the irrigation season summary of the kind of the resources we put into each segment of canal. I know it's been a request of the irrigation committee and of the board. So there's that for the annual references, kind of what we put in that, involves pretty much everything we do on those segments of canal. And that the effort it goes in is to maintain those. Did see an increase from last year. I think that's more attributed to our learning curve with cartograph and getting all our resources into that system. Last year it was relatively new-ish, and we get better and better at that every year and getting all our costs into that system. Just moving on to the next page. So the current water season. This kind of summarizes, is page 6. It summarizes where our water goes annually. And you'll see it across the board. It doesn't seem like it's changing much from 23, 24, 24, 25, our water year. So you'll see, treated production, 15%, purchase irrigation, 59%, and then conveyance losses, 15%. What that graph doesn't show, I kind of tried to describe it down below in the paragraph below, is we actually lowered our diversion by 9%. So even though the losses look the same, we actually have 9% less we diverted. So we're actually, the project we are doing is saving water and letting that water go to more beneficial uses. Doesn't really show up there, but that's right. And then, so upcoming for the forecasted water season, so as the beginning of the month, we're 100%, 112% of average, which we were at 110% this time last year, so we're a little bit higher. We have seen some early rain events down here. I think we've seen almost 10 inches down here, but it hasn't really translated to any significant increase in the stumpy meadows yet. I think, it's kind of saturating the soil, and, maybe it's once we start getting some more storms, we may see that in the future. So our forecasted model that we do every year, we do it a few times a year. It's kind of the first look at it going into the 25-26 season, into irrigation season for May. So the charts and table kind of tell the story there. But the summary is, we going into the water year, we are in a good position. Segment is that 84%. Our forecasted looks that we will meet our irrigation demands and with a 90% chance. So that's good. That's very similar. It's actually better than last year. Last year we were around 85%. So we're a little bit higher this year going into the season, into the winter season. And then I added the graphs just, so we have those there. They're pretty self-explanatory, but pretty much equal chances with precipitation, a little bit higher chances for temperature. Which doesn't seem like with the fog right now, but it's a little anomaly there. But yeah, that's basic summary of the report.
Dr. Saunders, do you have a question?
Yes,
Go ahead.
so, on the current water season, it shows that the last 3 years since we started doing the canal lining, really that the main canal is what we've seen the most significant decreases in the losses. So I know it's gone from 19% to 0. Is it 0? Because we
Yes.
have 0.
Well, you'll see how it has gauge error
Yeah, I
there.
see that too.
So, so when you get different debris in the system, we try to keep them clear, always keep them clear. So I would not say it's 0. That's the best estimate I can do with what we have and how, an open canal, you can measure an open canal. That's why I include the gauge error in there, because there is some where it's not a perfect closed system like a master meter distribution system. I don't think it's 0, no.
But it is a good significant change from when we started before, which showed that our infrastructure work is working.
Yeah.
And then I see that our residential use for October is the lowest it's ever been at 116. So.
Yeah.
We're conserving.
Okay. Any other question? So on page 5, you have, this is a full year of your summary for
Yeah.
cost,
Yeah,
but is that based on really 5 months or the whole year?
whole year.
Because we only, well, at some point, you know, we're not part of the main ditch. We only are part of the main ditch percentage for 5 months. We're not part of the main ditch. 365 days because we're only running for 5 months. Irrigation season, sorry.
So, yeah, so main ditch really, so that cost there, main ditch 2 is really only from Greenwood Lake down. But yeah, yes,
Cause it's,
we have to continually maintain regardless if it's,
but you're doing it for water production, not for irrigation. And that part of it. So that's why I'm a little concerned that that extra cost is added to the irrigation cost, when in reality it's for water to those treatment plants. At
Yeah.
that point, once we close down in October, we're done for irrigation, except for from wherever we're at down. But to those plants,
yeah.
now that's all
Right.
treated water.
Yeah, see where it says the bottom says proportionate irrigation delivery cost, so that takes into account on those bottom sections there. You know, a lot of that main ditch 2 work does happen during irrigation season. We do like the vegetation clearing, but we do our projects outside of that, say if we're lining or something, is included in there. But it is proportionate to the total cost of, you know, so,
But I'm talking the main dishes coming into those plants.
right.
That's when the costs stop to irrigation. They're strictly treated water.
They're strictly treated water, but it's still a combined system, so you still have to account for the cost no matter what.
We're not combined it after October 15th.
I think what he's trying to say is that there are projects that are still benefiting irrigation customers that are happening outside of the timing of irrigation. So there's still costs that are proportionate to the irrigation customers that are allocated to those projects. So there is still
I
work.
understand what you're saying, I understand what he's saying, but understand where I'm saying, is that at a certain point, that vegetation removal is strictly for maintaining water coming down those lines to those treatment plants. It is no longer feeding the irrigation customers and part of that system.
So I totally understand what you're saying, but you have to realize that any work you do that's vegetation clearing is going to also benefit an irrigation customer during the season, in the next season. So any canal lining work, any kind of work that's done on the system still has a proportionate ability to affect and help a irrigation customer moving forward. And so that's what he's trying to say is they take.
Anyway, I understand what you're saying, I don't agree with you, but go ahead. Director
I
Saunders.
understand what Director Seaman's saying, and I think with the new cartograph system, if we can show the areas of the canals that are treated, and I know there is a direct cutoff where it no longer impacts irrigation, just to make sure that those are being redundantly charged to that.
Right. I get that. So I was trying to like think of examples while you guys were discussing that, you know, so like, for example, like right now, say if we have a service that has trouble during irrigation season is on the main canal, we're gonna do that work right now.
Oh, I can
Right.
understand that,
Yeah.
but that's specific, that is a specific box. But I'm talking about if you're running, most of this work that you're doing has nothing to do with irrigation. It has totally to do with
Right.
coming to those treatment plants
So I think you could.
from October 15th to
Okay.
May 15th. But if it's a specific box and you can actually show me, I'm not trying to get too.
Right, yeah,
Show that this is
yeah.
this box and this box and this box we actually did work on for the future irrigation system, then I could say, you're right, that's an amount that could be added to these costs.
Yeah.
But just, you know, prorating this over 365 days is boosting the expenses to irrigation when it's actually water treatment, not irrigation.
May I ask you a question? We're doing a big canal lining project up by Volcanoville where it comes across out of the hydroelectric generator. So we canal lined about 1,200 feet. And this is just, we did it outside of irrigation season. And so I think what we're trying to say is if you were to look at that cost of that project, a portion of that project is still allocated to irrigation customers because in the future, it's going to benefit them because they're gonna have more water flowing.
Right.
The same with any kind of vegetation clearing or anything else that happens, we're doing work off season that do benefit irrigation customers in the future, because we can't do, when we're flowing 23 to 24 CFS, we can't do all the clearing work. We have to wait till it gets down to 10 or 12 CFS off season to do some of that clearing work.
Okay, but I think it should be pushed out one way or the other, whether it's actually actual irrigation that it's affecting, or it's actual just to maintain the ditch, because now the growth has decided to come out, and you guys may or may not have wanted to do the work at that time of irrigation season.
Mm.
Well, I think it needs to be, I
Yeah.
mean, especially when we're using these numbers to determine rates. And we're not using these numbers just to put it out here and show that we have numbers.
Well, I would recommend in some kind of methodology, right? Because I use a methodology based on what our demands, like a lot of our how we structure the rates, how we look at our supply and demand. We kind of look at what percentage of our water, but that's really our ultimate resource is water, right? So we look at, okay, so it takes 70% of our water resource goes to irrigation, about 30% goes to treated.
Well, I understand.
No, I know, I'm totally.
But I'm saying,
yeah,
take
no,
it down
yeah.
even more, because if you're
So-
saying just arbitrarily,
It's not arbitrarily.
well, I'm just saying,
There's a,
blanket number where it's always 70-30, I don't think that's quite appropriate for doing the cost of service.
right, so that's
Because
what,
now irrigation is paying for part of water, when it's actually water's issue, because 9 months out of the year, sorry,
yeah,
multiple months out of the year is actually just water. And we're
Right.
doing that vegetation removal because
Right,
now the
right.
tree has slipped off and fallen in. Well, it happened during
yeah.
the winter, and it didn't happen during irrigation. So that cost is still maintaining that water treatment plant. It is not maintaining irrigation.
So I think, so where I was getting with that was, I think it's probably a discussion the board would wanna have then. How you wanna look at that, right? Because, if you don't wanna look at it that way, we have to figure out different, because really like in cartograph, like we have departments and sections. So. I mean, it would take we could do it, but it would be these generally we look at like segments of the canal and say, okay, this is how much this costs this segment of canal. But if you have to come up with some way to say, okay, this is irrigation and this is treated water. Because historically, that's how we've done it. So if that's the discussion the board could have, we could give us some direction.
Well,
of how you
historically,
wanna-
COSA made a big deal about the fact that, there were certain numbers that went to irrigation, certain numbers that went to treated water, but reality is now we're hearing that it's kind of just here we go, the numbers percentage game versus actual cost, and it's all supposed to be based on actual cost.
Well, yeah, and the only really ones you're would be the main ditch, upper
Yeah,
canal, and the
yeah.
rest of them, yeah. So yeah, so if there's a
So this should
direction
be,
the board,
yeah, these should be only, irrigation on that case, it should be only based on that 5 months. Or if
But
there's
you-
a project that has to be done to keep it going.
We can't allocate costs like that, though. That's what we're trying to say is that's not a legitimate use of costs. When you have projects, there are specific projects that we know that are gonna benefit irrigation customers that we schedule outside of that 5 months strictly because we can't do them while we're serving water. So you're saying that those projects shouldn't be allocated towards irrigation when they benefit irrigation customers, so we have to allocate those costs to irrigation customers. I'm so sorry.
That wasn't what I said. What I'm saying is in those two big ditches that are just serving the treatment plant. And then take a harder look at that. Director Saunders.
Yeah, it's about allocation is what you're talking about, and there are some times where we know that outside of irrigation service, we're gonna allocate time to do the vegetation clearing and stuff. That's for irrigation. She's talking about projects that occur outside of that, like something occurs where it's just treated water system. However, what you also have to, whatever we allocate there, remember the opposite side of that is hydro gets allocated the same way, so we want to make sure the benefits match what the hydro revenue is gonna match as well, so just have to be careful how we tweak it to make sure that when we do have the boon to hydro where it can actually offset irrigation, we don't impact that, so.
Any other board comments? We've lost Mitch, so are we,
No, he's coming, I think he's having a technical issue, he's texting me.
then we have to take a pause for that. It is, three. Guess I shouldn't go by that, 3:14.
Oh, he's there, yes, he's back.
Okay, thank you. And public comment.
I just, I can't believe he's screaming. This is a cost accounting issue and, in my mind. And yes, I know I'm looking for the irrigation committee here, but is this something the irrigation committee could take a look at, and see if, we could come up with a better allocation? Look at, and see if we can come up with a better allocation.
That's sort of a double one, because I know, usually finance committee does respond to any, cost and dealing with the COSA. But also, I'm not sure, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm trying to say, they may not be looking at the cost of each item to see which ones are irrigation versus which ones are drinking water only. So I understand where you're coming from, but yeah. Sure.
The fire hydrant, Adam,
Yeah,
why did it have to get moved? Were people getting it?
we discussed that at one of the meetings. It was, for the access for, Garden Park residents. It was the fire department wanted larger access to get into that.
It reduced it to a one lane, so we had to move it, so we get rid of egress, it was an egress issue.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it's about the irrigation. They've always divided dual irrigation ditches by that 70-30. And then the ones that just serve irrigation is 100% irrigation. What's wrong with that?
That's what they did.
To me, that seems, if that allocation is correct, the 70-30, but that's where they pulled out of the first rate study
Yeah.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but if it's out of season and it's on the irrigation ditch, then it goes all the irrigation.
That's what they did, yeah.
yeah, that's what we weren't talking about that. We were talking main ditches.
So the dual,
They just go directly, at that point, it's going directly to a treatment plant.
and not being used for irrigation.
Correct.
Oh, well, that should just be free.
You have something to say, Director Saunders? Oh, we had the partial. That was somehow how you get a hold of me, so that's why I'm asking.
I'm in my Groucho Marx post.
All right. The water, I guess we're done with that one. We're going to water resources report.
So Alexis is on vacation today. If you want to ask me any questions, I can try to be as succinct as she is, but if you would have any specifics, I would say that you can email me or ask her later.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, we're waiting for the big rain to see if the improvements work, so.
What?
I'm coming next week.
And I would say Adam was wrong because we've got 4% of water since the big rains have happened. That's pretty good. I watch it every day.
Any public on that? Okay, general manager's report.
Yeah, I do have two brief things to report today. Everything else was in my report. You can see that I also attended the water forum and was a moderator for a panel that discussed kind of bridging the north versus south divide, which was I think well received and had some good information. I would like to briefly introduce our new executive assistant. You see her here, Taylor Jones. She's going to be taking over the duties of the executive assistant. We still have Jessica here in the room for one more meeting. So if you need anything from Taylor in the future, that will be your contact. And then I do have a video I'd like to show that was put together to kind of highlight some of the stuff we do here at the district. So if you'll bear with me, I'm gonna share that screen. Well, maybe start it with the volume.
It's not very loud.
I'm doing the best I can here with what I got.
And there's a little volume to the right somewhere. You can increase that one too.
Here?
Yeah. That's what I found at the meeting.
Oh, yeah, look at that, all the way down.
At Georgetown Divide Public Utility District,
Yeah, I
we
had
take
to
an extraordinary challenge, delivering clean, reliable water across some of California's most rugged and beautiful terrain. Every drop flows through a system built on history.
This district was founded the same time as gold was found in California. People digging the canals and the ditches, they're still the same ditches and canals that we use.
You think of canals, you think of agricultural land in the valley. That's my first thought comes to mind. Up here, it's a little different. Up here, it's on the side of cliffs, side of mountains.
150 years after the gold rush, the parts of that original hand-dug system are still in use. Over time, we've added concrete linings and replaced sections with pipe, but those same canals that once carried water to miners now carry it to homes and farms. This is the clean, safe water you depend on daily, drinking, cooking, and cleaning. Winding through forests and mountainsides, they're a living link to the past and a daily challenge to maintain.
Bringing the water the way we do into the community is very unique. We have a lot of challenges because of the hand dug canals.
Our crews are out there clearing those ditches and clearing areas on either side of the ditches to help clear the vegetation, which is sucking the water, which is doing damage to our ditches.
That infrastructure runs through hill and dale, through canyon, through fire-prone areas, through sediment, landslide-prone areas.
We have breaks in the middle of the night. We go out in the middle of the night, repair those breaks, make sure that the water is getting delivered to the house. We make sure that not only they're getting the water, but they're getting a high quality product.
Right now, we're at Stumpy Meadows Reservoir. This is the main water source for the Divide community.
Our water begins high in the Sierra Nevada, where rain and snow melt feed Stumpy Meadows Reservoir, Divide's primary source. From there, it travels through 70 miles of aging canals to our treatment plants and irrigation customers. Then, through more than 200 miles of pipes, to homes across the Divide.
Turn the faucet on, water's there. There's a lot that goes into getting that water, this water behind us to that spigot.
In Auburn Lake Trails, we also operate a shared septic system, safely treating wastewater before it returns to the ground. We meet the same strict regulations as districts serving millions, but here at GDPUD, we do it for just 10,000 people across 122 square miles. That's why grants are essential. In recent years, we've secured more than $34 million, state, local, and federal partners, investments that modernize our system, improve reliability, and help limit rate adjustments. Beyond securing grants, we're operating differently, using water more efficiently, tightening our fiscal practices, and investing in stronger infrastructure to stretch every dollar further.
We have to be creative, fiscally conservative, but fiscally sound and be able to think out of the box to bring funding into the district.
The grants that we've received is something that's not typical of this water district. And now millions are flowing into the district to offset any rate increases.
We have been more successful in the last 2 to 3 years of supplementing our income with significant grants than we ever have been in the history of the Georgetown Divide PUD.
As wildfire risks grow, our crews work nonstop. It's demanding work, but it keeps water flowing.
Mosquito fire is a great example of that, when half of our district had to evacuate and staff had to stay behind even though their family was evacuated and not with them. They stayed and they had to go up country and help keep canals clear and keep water flowing even through the threat of a fire. So the dedication is unmatched.
From the gold built our canals to the innovation shaping our future, Georgetown Divide is investing in what matters most: water and the community we sustain.
You don't have those kind of projects, the ongoing community center is just about water. So water is the lifeblood of the community.
It's great. Really good.
Downtown Georgetown online.
What's that?
At the picture of downtown Georgetown.
So did you notice it was actually Stubby's restaurant that they took the water pitchers and they actually were inside Stubby's and used it for the water. That's actually their restaurant, their people serving water to customers. So they went all over. And so this is just a video that we can send to legislators, we can send to regulators, so they can see a little bit about what we do and you know, the more information we can put out there, this will go on our YouTube channel. So the more information that we can put out there for people to see who we are, the better chances we have of getting additional help and grants and other kind of funding. So that was why we put that together.
You have a question?
I'm just gonna add, we can also make 1-minute snippets of that to put on Facebook for our customers as well, so they can see where our rates kind of go.
We are already working on something similar to that.
Is it gonna go on the web page?
It will go on the website and on the, it'll be a Zoom link or something. I'm not sure how it's gonna get up there. About 4 minutes.
Any other director comments?
It was mentioned in there that we, as a district, received 34 million in grants.
Correct.
That's what we received, not what has been cut and what we expected, correct?
That is what we have been awarded. So we have letters and in hand. We have not spent $34 million,
Okay.
but we have letters in hand that we have access to 34 million.
So that funding is secure.
Yeah, yes. Yes, I would never put a number in that was unsecured.
Yeah, at the last meeting, there was discussion of what is unsecured.
What was
Correct.
received and what was fluffing out there?
That looks like it's not gonna arrive.
There's about $3 million that we are not sure if we're gonna get or not, but that's not included in the 34.
So Taylor, your thing is EA, you're taking over that email?
Correct.
It's not active right now. We it's deactivated until tomorrow. So if you need to email,
Will be here.
yes.
Any other public comments? Okay, we're up to committee. Irrigation committee, Christie had to leave. I know the one thing she has asked is that we put something forward for January to get the information out on the new committee members. Who's something officially, et cetera, so we can make sure that she's wanting to make sure that gets put forward.
I already have it on my agenda planning document for accepting resignations and adding. You have received 2 applications of folks interested in joining the committee, so I will include both their informations.
And then I would also say notification of the members of what these changes were to the. So that they have been notified that this is moving forward, what's gonna be going on.
I'd be happy to send out the policy once, now that it's approved to the
Yes.
committee members.
That would be great. Finance committee,
No, I have nothing to report, except it'd be nice if we had a full committee. But since the board decided to steal 2 of my members, we're kind of close, so I'll let you know. We're doing fine, we're staying on track, and we're pretty much right on the
that's why we
monies
only
that
have
we're,
one committee.
yeah.
No, Stovall.
He's been here a while.
Yeah,
But that's right.
That's not new. This
I
is
mean-
old.
4 of the 5 are from the finance committee, so.
I'm
And
not-
soon it'll be irrigation committee. Now that we have one, that's a good pool to draw from.
Our numbers look good, by the way. I mean, we're, in terms of our budget, what we're spending and how we're working, so. Question?
Is the, I guess, you're on the committee also, so I guess we're asking for comment from the committee.
My name is Martha Howlett. And the most recent development, the biggest thing we discussed last meeting was the proposed solar project and financing that and the rates. And so I believe, Director or Chair Lawrence has provided a summary.
Yeah.
Formal.
So we're here to support that summary, and if you have any questions about it.
There's a summary for both items C8C and 11A, I believe. So not 1110A, excuse me, I'm so sorry. So he did include a summary from the committee, and then if there's any questions from the committee, those items they were asked to attend because of that.
Okay. And then strategic planning committee meeting.
I have
Before you
that,
move off of irrigation, I
Oh.
wanted to make just a quick comment.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Well, just wanted to say it's good to see you guys here. I would really appreciated the information that you provide, and congratulations to Chair Gorence, who's moved up. Good choice, I think, for chair. And thank you for being here today. I hope you stick around for the items that you addressed and we're going to be considering, but just strong work you guys are doing. A great affection for your committee, and good to see you and see that you're doing so well. That's it.
Okay. Strategic planning committee. Go ahead.
It's my hope that we'll have a draft available for the board to review at the next meeting.
Me too. Thank you. Any public comments on those? Okay. Now comes the fun part. Item 8A, legislative update.
Next, I have an update. We do have one action item, and that'll be on the Wildfire Solutions Coalition. So, updates, statewide, so, I know, well, we'll do federal wide. So federal wise, we still know, the government is open. The shutdown has ended. They have until January 30th or 31st to, sign the 3 appropriation bill packages. So there's one for the interior and another budget one. So somewhere in there is appropriations for us. So we will know by the end of January if any appropriations are moving through. That's the $3 million that we have in appropriations.
I think they've signed one.
They've signed one, but I'm not sure if we're in that. I haven't looked through it yet.
Not yet. We're in the other 2.
Yes. And then, all of the federal bills that we have supported, they are not moving anywhere yet, because you see, they're still, until they deal with the budget issue, we don't expect anything to really move forward. They did, as we are now going through a changing of what the definition of waters of the US is, it's open to public hearing. They're doing a lot of deregulations, and that kind of ties in with the Clean Water Act. So there is a HR bill that's out on clean water, and we will see how that pans out, if we're gonna support or just leave it where it is. There's some pluses to it. There's some cons to it. Some of the pluses will help us in terms of our dredging and things like that, where you can put the water that you dredge. It changes a lot of the 5-year contracts to 10-year, and that is a problem for dealing with things like toxins and things like that. So where you have people that can actually be discharged, when you look at 5-year and 10-year, there's a big gap there where discharge can lead to pollutants. So those are the negative effects of that one. Legislative wise, there's no actual bills out yet. So one of the big pushes from the Aqua Federal is they did approve prioritizing, as Director Seaman talked about, the low income rate assistance plan. We did support the one that was put forward by Larry McKinney from Amador. So there is language, but there is no set bills yet. So when they come forward, we will support them. So we will be looking at things like the low income rate assistance, any connection fees, things like that. The key word is going to be housing and affordability, and we have to be watchful of what's going to affect water and wastewater. So there may be impacts on that. Those are the things we'll look forward to in the next session. And the biggest one, which is probably the person looking in his briefcase now, will have to brief us on, was SB 707.
Yeah.
Which had a whole bunch of changes to the Brown Act, a whole bunch of crazy changes. So we'll have to get a briefing on that. And one of the changes is January, there has to be a Brown Act on the agenda, I believe.
Yeah, thankfully, without going too much detail, because I know want to be conscious of time. SB 707 largely doesn't apply to us because we are not eligible legislative bodies defined in that law. So there are some things we will have to do starting January 1. So you're right about that, Director Saunders. But the big things, the big lifts in terms of having the agendas in different languages
Right, yeah.
and other things, we won't have to do. Because we don't meet the definition of an eligible legislative body. It does require remote participation by the public, but we're already doing that anyways. So, yeah, but
Some changes to the way we can address consent calendar without having to pull items, so there are some positive changes to it.
So we'll wait till that actually
We'll wait
comes up
till that
before we
actually
discuss
comes
it.
up. Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's
Anything else?
law now. And then the wildfire coalition. So that's what I talked about in my board report. So this is basically a coalition that started from the Nature Conservancy. And it's ways to invest in wildfire resilience now. There is money for wildfire in Prop 4. And this coalition wants to work together to make sure that money comes to the Sierras. That money from Cap and Invest, that's the Cap and Invest, which used to be Cap and Trade. That money from that can go back into be reinvested with wildfire, that the money that is set aside for wildfire resistance comes to us, and that we can work together with a coalition that is broader than just our water agencies to help us talk with one voice. So we have the NGOs, we have labor, we have other coalitions in there. If you look at the back, there's a little NASCAR branding of all the organizations that joined us, and the ask is for us to sign on to it. One of the founding organizations that signed on to this was Mountain Counties Water Resources Association, and then Aqua has joined in, PCWA, so most of our agencies has joined in, and the ask is for us to be a signed member on this coalition. The question is there a financial impact? There is none.
No, it's
Are you done?
just a,
Are there any other questions for Director Saunders?
Just a quick question. I noticed, I didn't see any cities, counties, any of the local larger municipalities signed on to it yet. Is that just because it's still circulating, or is it more geared toward NGOs and districts?
CSAC is a member.
Okay.
So that's some of the larger agencies. The reason we decided is there are some individual water districts like Utica, PCWA, Rancho Water. And because we've been affected by a wildfire, I think it's advantageous for us as a water district to also have our name attached to it, because this is a fairly large coalition of folks.
Yeah, just curious what the nature of the whole coalition was gonna, profile was gonna look like. But it could include locally, other locally.
Yeah, there's local agencies. You can see PCWA and
Yeah.
Rancho Water and some others in there.
You may also end up with some other counties that sign on individually.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're still going out, and it's
Just
pretty new. Yeah, it's going out, and they're getting more names to add on.
Are there any comments on this? Okay, public?
Yeah, so is this in the packet?
No, it did. I added late. It's an attachment. It's on the website, but it's right there.
Oh, this is what he was reading.
Right.
Yeah.
The 707, so I had seen that.
That's a
They're
different.
saying that's law now,
As of January 1st.
January 1st. Okay, and that's gonna require every special district, right?
No.
We're gonna have this reviewed and discussed in January.
So it's not every special, okay.
and it will largely not apply to us.
The remote aspect of it.
Other aspects too, a lot of aspects.
So,
All right.
yeah, any other questions? Okay.
So the motion is that we sign on and be a signing member of the wildfire coalition.
Oh, that's what the bottom line was now. Okay. Do we have any comments on that one?
Since
Yeah, that was motion that was spoken.
I'll second.
Is there any other comments on that motion? That was not brought up when we were talking about this.
I said that at the beginning, that there was no actions on the bill, but an action on the wildfire coalition.
Okay. Okay, could I have a roll call vote?
Yes, Director Fisher,
Yes.
Director McDonald,
Aye.
Vice President Saunders,
Aye.
Treasurer Stovall,
I,
and President Seaman.
Hi. Okay, we're up to consider and entering into a contract with Quality Painting, Sandblasting for tank coating services for the Angel Camp storage tank.
So this item has been discussed for the last couple of years on our CIP. We've had to work with our engineering partners on developing this plan of attack moving forward. So today we have selected Quality Painting and Sandblasting to do the actual work, and then we also are working with West Coast tank consultants to inspect their work. So I'll turn it over to Adam to add any kind of color and anything else we may have missed.
Well, can I stop you first? Is it, you've already made a selection?
No,
That's what I just heard. And that's why I'm asking. We did not make a selection.
Recommend.
We
We are recommending to the board that that's who we want to go with.
apologize for the miss.
Okay.
Included in the packet should be the other partners that we evaluated. We evaluated this, and it's our recommendation that you select this company.
Thank you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so there's piggyback on Nick, two proposals. One out was a request for bid, which was low bidder, low responsive bidder for the actual contracting work, and then request for proposal was the inspection services. They go along with a project like this. Like you said, we found Quality Painting, Sandblasting, lowest responsible bidder, and West Coast Consultant is the most qualified inspection consultant for this project, and that's what we're recommending.
Any questions? Andy?
How did the bids compare with the original estimate?
Pretty close. We didn't publish the engineering estimate. It's pretty close. They came in it's a couple above, couple below.
Okay, and could you talk just briefly, I saw that there was a bid protest that's all talked about in here, but and then you landed on a coating, so the one that was submitted and approved, just talk about kind of the nature of it. It's an epoxy coating, just briefly, what is it that we're getting?
Yeah, we're getting a start coating that we have used in the past on other tanks, and it's held up well, and it meets our standards, meets the AWD requirements.
So kind of proven.
Yeah.
Seeing it in use.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dr. Stovall?
at the latest JPI meeting, there was a training on risk transfer strategies for water operations. And in looking at the contract for the solar, there was quite a bit of information in there about how we're listed it as an additional insured. I assume that there's no contract that's been entered into yet, but there will be that kind of language similar to the CEQA that was kind of.
It's already been vetted by legal.
Okay, so my question to legal is that that's been vetted and there's no concerns about us being listed as an additional insured and so on.
No, that's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
We want to be listed as citizens.
He's saying to make sure that it's there.
There's no-
Yes, absolutely. That's our standard suite
Okay.
of requirements for insurance coverage.
Right.
And we're discussing just the tank coating right now.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the project under consideration.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
so.
I know you weren't selling brochure at that time. I saw you.
So, yeah, our engineer was also reviewed the bids, and thank you for adding all of the emails with the protest bid, because when you have someone that's already going into legislation before you have them, we did have a contractor with one of our large projects that ended up suing us for almost $2 million at the end of it. So we probably want to avoid people that are litigating going in. So thank you for providing that.
That's really why it took us long to get to this point.
Yeah.
In the bid stamps.
Okay, so is the tank leaking currently?
Things not leaking.
Okay. Is there some type of guarantee that when they're starting to grind and poke through that tank wall to do their repairs and cleaning and everything, that they're 90-day guarantee that it's not gonna start leaking once they get done and walk away.
Yeah, there is a guarantee in there. I think it's say it's 5 years. But the tank isn't at the point where it's actually gonna start leaking. So what happens is the coatings inside start failing, and then it compromises the integrity of the tank. So
Right.
we're trying to beat it to that point. So there's the likelihood of them poking a hole in it is,
Well, they're talking about, grinding,
that's kind of
they're grinding, welding, and anytime you start welding a metal, you're gonna fatigue that metal, so.
that's typically.
As I'm seeing, it's welding repair per pit, so they're believing there's up to 40 pits in that thing currently. And they're doing some welding repairs that's 20, I would say probably square feet instead of just feet, and then seal welded repair, and then they're grinding. So they're gonna be actually affecting the integrity of that wall. Potentially.
Most of that is actually like structural bracing inside, not the out the wall per se, but it all comes through. But yeah, they that is pretty standard for a recoating. It would take to go in there and find where the steel has degraded to a point to repair that, and they do certify the work and offer, they don't just walk away from it.
Right, that's all I was, because
Yeah.
that's what I was reading, is there's potential issues of potential grinding, poking, jabbing, affecting that, wall integrity even by heating it up and cooling it down. And the guarantee. Okay, thank you. Any other public? Any other director comments? Public? Great.
Why do you think we should have a high increase because a few years ago, it was like 300,000?
Side of the tank, that's the biggest thing. The last tank we did was around a little over 200,000 gallons. This was almost 500,000. So it's just like it's on the scale.
So what was the other one costing that, 3 something?
I think it was like 362 number in my head. I think.
And then how often, when's the last time this was?
This one's never been done.
Oh. Interesting.
Any other public? Okay. Directors?
Yep, when did we start our 10-year cycle? That like 2017 or something like that?
Yeah, because they had done it one tank before I started here, and so it was like 16, 17.
Yeah, so this is 2027, and this is the last one because it was the biggest one, so it's within that 10-year.
We still have
And then how many years between each tank?
It kind of depends, honestly. It kind of depends on how they degrade and go. Inspections to make sure we're not doing them too early or too late.
Like 3 years, 4 years?
Oh, more than that. For example, this one has been since the 70s, so not ideal, but.
Are we getting a grant for another tank in that area?
Grant to build a tank. It's gonna be an auxiliary tank next to the next to the plant.
Okay. Public comment closed. Can we have a motion one way or the other?
I make a motion that we accept the bids for contract for the Angel Camp tank coating to Quality Painting Sandblasting for $563,250, and the inspection service for Angel Camp tank to West Coast Coating for $36,340.
I second.
Thank you. Roll call vote?
Director Fisher,
Yes.
Director McDonald,
Aye.
Vice President Saunders,
Aye.
Treasurer Stovall, and President Seaman.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, the next one is considering setting the water and wastewater rates for the calendar year 2026.
Thank you. This item was heard at the finance committee meeting and updated due to comments made at the committee level. I will turn it over to Nancy with Sanjay's firm Water Resource Economic. Unfortunately, Sanjay is out of the country today, so he will not be able to join us. But Nancy, we're in good hands with Nancy. I will go over whoever her numbers, and then we can discuss the potential for rate setting in the future. So Nancy, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Nicholas. I will go ahead and share my screen.
Hang on, I gotta give you permission.
Okay, give me a second. Let me know when that's ready.
I think you should be good. I just made you the co-host.
Okay, super. Thank you. Mm, Give me a second. Okay. Sorry, I'm also out of the country today, along with Sanjay. Well, not at the same place, but so I'm working on a very, very tiny laptop, so excuse me for the little Zoom stuff on the right side. So good afternoon, Madam President, Board of Directors, public, and staff. Thanks so much for having me. My name is Nancy Fan. I'm a principal consultant here at WRE. As Nicholas mentioned previously, I do work with Sanjay Gar. We both worked on the district's last rate study, so I'm excited to have a chance to discuss this study with you today. A couple of items before we get started. As I mentioned, I am joining from out of the country, so if there's any, stuff going with my audio, please let me know. And if you have any questions as we work through this presentation, please feel free to interrupt me. It's a bit hard to see the board room right now with my laptop, so feel free to interrupt at any time. Okay? So starting off the presentation with our agenda, I'm going to start off with the study overview, explain what we're trying to do in this study, what the purpose was, and then we'll finally go into the comparisons between the expenses as well as the financial plan between the prior study and this study. And then we'll look at a couple of different options for the current financial plan with all of the updated data. And at the very end, we will have an opportunity for board direction to see what water rates we want to go with in January 2026. Okay, so study overview. The district engaged WRE to conduct a financial plan update and analysis for the water rates. And the purpose of this study is really just to evaluate what water rate increases are needed for January 2026, which is coming up, and also to assess the financial position of the district based on all the new data that we've received since it's been a year since we've done the last rate study. So updated customer data, updated financial data, etc., which we'll go over in a little bit. As Nicholas mentioned also, we did meet with the Finance Committee on November 19th, and the Finance Committee reviewed the presentation and provided the following recommendations. So the first is that they're recommending an 8% rate adjustment for January 2026, keeping in mind that the rate adjustment that was adopted in the last rate study for January 2026 was 10%. And then we also want to reduce the budgeted CIP spending to be $800,000 per year, which is going to be funded through cash. Okay. So going into the expenses, and let me try to move this a little bit so you can see the right side of the presentation. So for the operating expenses, which we'll start with, the prior rate study, just comparing these 2 years, fiscal year 25 and 26, we used fiscal year 25 numbers, and then we projected fiscal year 26 based on fiscal year 25 budget in for this study, because fiscal year 2025 has passed, we now have actual fiscal year 2025, and then we have updated fiscal year 2026 budget. And then similarly, we project everything from fiscal year 27 onward based on that last year budget. So overall, the annual operating expenses are increasing by approximately $200,000 to $300,000 a year. So fiscal year 2025 budget versus actuals, we're showing up at $238,000 higher. And then fiscal year 26 budget versus projections, we are about $295,000 higher. So the highest increases are to the benefits categories as well as the general categories. General also includes materials and supplies, which have increased, I believe, the most in both of those years. So there's also some minimal increases to salaries. There's a slight decrease in the fiscal year 26 budget, but an overall minimal increase and an overall decrease to utilities and capital. So that's by category, the comparison of operating expenses. We are going to move into a table comparing the departments. So as I mentioned previously, fiscal year 25 actual for the current fiscal year 2026 budget, and then projections from 2027 to 2029. So there are some more significant decreases to the source of supply. We can see here in that difference part of the table here. So source of supply overall, the total is a 5-year total. That department has decreased overall, and all other departments have increased. So increases to raw water, and then moderate increases to other departments as well. Okay. So any questions about operating expenses before we move on to capital, which is the next section?
I have a question.
Okay, then I will move on to CIP. This is the CIP that, oh, is there a question?
No, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So here we're showing the CIP. As I mentioned previously, during the last presentation to the Finance Committee, we have a discussion about executed capital projects for this study. So staff provided the updated budgeted CIP, which I believe averages around $1.2 million of CIP per year. But based on the feedback from the Finance Committee, we have reduced funding to $800,000 a year from fiscal year 26 to 29. So we're averaging just under that 800,000 with the 2025. So overall, there's some pretty minimal changes to the CIP based on what we plan to execute in the current study and then what we plan to execute in the prior study. So overall, there's for over 5 years, there's a $70,000 decrease in overall CIP spending. And so because we are reducing that budgeted CIP in the study to $800,000 per year, the average executed CIP is about 64% of the district's budgeted CIP. Okay, that is capital. Differences in the expenses. So moving on, we are going to be comparing the financial plan results between the results of the prior study and this current study. So we're going to be looking at 4 different graphs. Based on the last rate study, the board has seen these graphs before, but I'll be going over all of the components of it again. So we have the revenue requirement graph, we have a capital funding or CIP funding graph, we have debt coverage projections, as well as projected fund balances. And just keeping in mind, we are assuming those 10% annual rate adjustments based on the last rate study, since this is more of an apples to apples comparison between what we saw in the last rate study versus what we project in this study based on the new data. So the first slide here, we're looking at the revenue requirement. The left side graph is going to be this current study with updated financial information, and the right side will be the same graph from the prior study. So the stacked bars represent your expenses. So O&M expenses, debt service, rate funded CIP, and any reserve funding if we are doing it in funding reserves in any given year. This line here is the current revenue, and then the dashed line is the proposed revenue. And so as you can see here, the revenue projections pretty much stayed the same. We did update the customer data. It didn't change too much. So we're still looking around the amount of revenue if we apply those 10% adjustments that were adopted in the last rate study. And we also have some increases to those operating expenses that I mentioned in the previous slides. So it results in less funds available for maintaining or building fund balances. So that light blue, I'm not sure if you can see it, that light blue part of the stacked bars, that has decreased since our expenses are higher. Okay, and then on to capital funding. So on the left side is the current study, right side is the prior study. As I mentioned, we're kind of evening out the capital project funding for these 4 years at $800,000 per year. Overall, it's pretty similar to what we previously had for capital project funding in the prior study. So prior study, we had $3.9 million overall for those 4 years. Current study, we have $3.2 million over 4 years based on the recommendations from the Finance Committee. So there's a slight reduction in executed CIP, but more or less stays pretty similar. Debt coverage projections, left side again is going to be the current study, right side is prior study. So the green line here is the calculated debt coverage based on the updated information. So debt coverage, just as a review, is a calculation of revenues minus operating expenses divided by annual debt service costs. So because operating expenses have increased in this current study projections, that debt coverage percentage that we're looking at on the green line has decreased a bit compared to what we projected in the prior study. However, the district is still able to meet its coverage requirement of 125% for all years of the study, even with the higher O&M expenses and lower debt coverage projections with that 10% revenue adjustment. Okay, and then finally, looking at the fund balances, this is kind of where this all gets tied in, all of the financial information, the revenues, CIP funding, operating expenses, etc., tie into the final fund balances for the district's unrestricted funds. So the green bars represent the projected fund balance, ending fund balance in any given year, and then the reserve targets is represented by that dashed line here. So the projected fund balances in the current study are going to be a little bit lower, as I mentioned, due to that increase in operating expenses. But even with the increase in spending, the adopted 10% increase over those 4 years will still allow the district to meet reserve targets, albeit at a slightly lower level than before. Is there a question? I think I heard something.
No. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, there he is again.
Sure.
Okay. Hey, Mitch, can you hear us?
Yep. Oh.
No, Mitch.
I'll text him.
Yes, I hear you.
Please keep yourself on the camera at all times, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
You can continue, I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Okay, so what I was talking about even with the increase in spending, so there's increase in operating expenses and a slight decrease overall to capital funding, we can still meet these fund balance targets that were adopted as part of the last rate study with the 10% increase, which is happening every year from fiscal year 26 to 29. Okay, so these are all 4 graphs for the current financial plan with the 10% adjustments for all 4 years, which is what was adopted as part of the last rate study. However, as part of the Finance Committee recommendations, they are recommending a first year readjustment of 8%, all out years, which will be decided, I presume, at a later point, is still going to be 10% at that rate level. So even with that first year of 8% revenue adjustments, the district is still able to meet all the financial targets. So overall, revenue is going to be slightly lower than what we saw in the last slide. Fund balances are also going to be slightly lower, but at the end of the 4 years, all 4 years, we're still able to meet those reserve targets, even with 8%. A lower 8% rate adjustment in that first year. Debt coverage, as well is going to be a little bit lower because all of these rate increases are going to be compounded over the 4 years, but still able to meet that 125% debt coverage requirement. And then capital project funding, as I mentioned, is going to be $800,000 per year based on the recommendation by the Finance Committee. And just as a comparison, this is the slide where we don't approve any rate increases over the 4 years. So 0% for all 4 years instead of 8 or 10% for the first year and 10% for all out years. So without any rate adjustments over the next 4 years, slowly those fund balances are going to be depleted. The revenues on the revenue requirement graph is going to be lower than the bars, which means we're drawing down reserves, as we can see here, in order to fund operating expenses, debt service, as well as rate-funded CIP. Debt coverage in that first year is going to be okay, but it dips well below that 125% target if we don't any rate adjustments. And then capital project funding stays the same at $800,000. Okay. So summarizing all of this into kind of what we're looking for the board today, from the board today. The board can provide direction on what rate increases for water rates they want effective January 2026. So the option 1 is keeping the Prop 218 option based on the last rate study at 10%. Option 2 is that 1 year 8% rate adjustment based on the Finance Committee's recommendation. And then option 3 we can discuss, which is any alternative rate adjustment that the board is interested in. So I'm going to stop there. Happy to go back to any prior slides if we want to review any more information or answer any questions. Thank you.
Board, do we have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
I have a question. So at some point we were discussing, when we were changing our, we were moving staff positions around for like the outside crew. That was supposed to be a salary. Somehow we're getting feedback from somebody.
Right.
We were supposed to get a salary reduction there, and then for the projection, I guess. So that should be a lower rate for this upcoming year because we had the changes of those salary positions. And then also in-house staff, where's that, 5,600, those numbers are down for the year because these are all new hires and they're not where they were. So are these actually calculated in here as a reduction?
She's showing you right there for 2026, it's $5,400 less.
Okay, what I'm asking is, are those are, you're saying those two are included, that there's no information showing what each one of those reduced over this next year were gonna be from what the projection was last year when we did COSA?
It's right here, that's what she's showing you. This is what it reduced to. See how in the first line it says salaries? And then the brackets $5,400 less, so that's the adjustment that's been made in the calculations.
So that reduction of all those employees is only $5,000 for the entire year.
According to what we have now, yes.
Okay. I think that was the one question I had. Do you guys have any other questions? Okay, I guess we're gonna go to the public. Great.
What I don't understand is why they're only a year into not even a year into the new rate increase, and we're already over budget.
We're not over budget. There are certain categories that are over budget because of, well, hold on, like, I mean, I understand, but you have to let me finish before
I
you.
didn't say anything.
There are certain categories that are paid upfront as, for example, our UAL is all paid in July. There are workers' comp insurance that is all paid in July. There are large expenditures that are in the very first part of our budget cycle that show we are over budget. in those categories, but that doesn't mean we're over budget for the year.
Okay, so when they're putting down for fiscal year 25, fiscal year 2026. On page 5. Those are projected for the year or just year to date?
Those are projected for the year. You're
So
talking,
at the end of the year, they're projecting 295,000 this year,
go back one slide, Nancy, I think is what she's referring to.
page 5.
This one?
It says page 5.
We have it's matching up. So these numbers, these totals for fiscal year 25 and 26 are going to be the same between slides 4 and 5. It's just split up into either categories, expense categories, which is slide 4, or department, which is slide 5. So that total number right here, 138 and 295, those are going to be matching from both of those slides.
Doesn't make sense.
But
you're over, you're projecting every year you're gonna be over. I thought the whole purpose of the rate study was to do the 10% every year and then you come out closer to even. I don't understand why we're already over. And that's including in the revenue, the 10% increase.
You say the word over, what are you referring
these
to?
These figures don't include the 10% increase right here because these are just expenses. The 10% increases are applied to the revenue side of the equation.
It's saying the difference is how much more we're spending every year. It's not how much we're over. There's as materials and salaries and other things increase, it's saying that in 25 and then 26, those are how much in addition we're gonna need to have. Those are the additional expenses, so it's not over budget.
Well, so it's, okay, compared, so 2026 is 295,000
Correct,
difference from 2025.
correct.
Okay. So a difference, so then the difference is between the two of those?
No.
The difference is between what we project in the current study based on the new data versus what we projected in the study. So that is what the difference represents.
And you're using year-to-date expenses and income. So we have
fiscal year 26 is going to be the budget amount since fiscal year 26 hasn't been completed yet. We're only halfway through the year. Fiscal year 25 is going to be actuals. So these are actuals compared to what we previously budgeted.
so
Fiscal year 26 is budget compared to projections.
The 238,000 for 2025, we were over budget by that, if that's an actual. In the expenses.
It's not over the budget, it's over what they calculated on their COSA when they did theirs.
The original rate.
Correct, so some of that was the budget, you're conflating two different items, so budget and what they've studied are not the same thing. The budget is what we approve as a district, the board approves that, so we make changes throughout the year for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're looking at what we had originally when they did their study of what the differences are from their original study.
Okay, if you're not using actual year-to-date numbers, how is the board going to approve a rate increase when they're actually needing to go on actual figures?
So that's what they're doing for fiscal year 2025. They actually are using those numbers. We don't actually have the numbers for 2026 yet, because we can't physically
Well, you have 3
fast forward
months
ahead.
of it.
Yep, and I'm sure that I'm not gonna speak for what Nancy did, but I'm sure that they calculated some way of working that number out.
All right, I just don't see how they did it.
Was there any other public comments? Did we have any comments from the finance committee?
I would say, look at what you've just seen, and we're on the right track. And so, we look at that proposal as where we want to be, and I'm talking specifically about the one on the left. And as long as we keep moving with that, we're gonna be probably better off than we've been in a long time. So when we look at it now, and if it was where it was going to go, it looks like we would be on track or better.
Okay, thank you. Yes,
The other thing was, we recommended the 8% because we felt that that was a good compromise between inflation being at 4%, so that's just a given. So in actuality, we feel like the rate increase is really 4%. And Nick and staff worked really hard on the CIP to shift things around so that we could make this happen and, you know, still hit our targets at 8. So that was in our discussion from our finance committee meeting.
okay, thank you. Do we know who's the last?
It might be Nancy's, where she's at, because she might be at like an internet salon or something.
Okay,
Closing
Director.
public comment. We'll just.
yes, I am closing public comment at this time. Director Saunders?
Yeah, so the CIP is, remember, that's the rate funded portion, so. We had a policy where I believe it was 875,000, but 800,000 is what the cap we said that we would give to our ratepayers, because the CASA study did show we should be 1.2 to $2 million a year. And 2 million for 3,000 customers is not really a reasonable figure. So that's why it is on us as a board and staff to make sure we go after the grants to cover that gap. And you know, 1 year we're gonna have to do a water transfer to help cover that gap, and any other methods we can when we get the hydro contracts back. So we're still planning on covering that 1.2 CIP, just not rate funded. So, and because that's not a guarantee, that's why we may not meet those. We have exactly here, by going with what we have, we will be able to meet our reserve fund balance is not as high as it was before. We don't know what our investments do, so if we do well, we may go above that. And it does allow for some inflation, and it does keep our credit rating high enough with our debt coverage that we're still able to get pretty low SRF loans if needed, so.
And I guess one of the question I have is that all the interest that we've been getting, is that in this also? The
Yes,
increase?
interest income is included as part of the financial plan. So that is included in the
Actual.
revenue part. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the key moving forward, especially when we get grants, is a lot of the grant offsets we don't realize because they cover projects that are not in our priority or outside. So we want to really try and cover those projects that we are funding to help offset the rates. So that's something we have to look at as well moving forward, so we can make sure we can offset the rate side also.
Is there any other comment?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
I think we're fulfilled.
So I did just want to refer back to the finance committee. As many of you know, I was on it until the last couple months. And so I was with the committee for the past 2 to 3 years, where we looked over all of the finances, all the expenditures. We looked at the reasonability of everything that's being spent by this district. And I think that's given me a great deal of confidence to say we've really beat the bushes for fiscal responsibility, for efficiency. And even this recommendation, I think it's a carefully threaded needle that's trying very hard to keep rates low, with some conscious decisions about pretty small increases, if any, to reserves, and a pretty lean capital improvement commitment on the part of ratepayers. I really appreciate the work you've done. I appreciate the confidence that the finance committee has given us with this report. I just did want to read one of the comments by the Chair Gorsuch, that your committee is fully aware that this 8% recommendation is less than the 10% increase used in the cost of service analysis, and is cognizant that a greater rate increase may be required to address the capital and reserve shortfalls. The future annual rate increases are likely in order to keep the district financially healthy. I appreciate that. I'm supportive of the recommendation from the finance committee. I appreciate your confidence, but you know, this district runs on a pretty lean budget. There's no slop in this budget, and this is a pretty carefully threaded needle.
Do I have a recommendation from the board?
I have a question.
Who has a question?
Director McDonald?
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Chair Gorsuch, when you said potential future increases may be needed to offset expenses, did you mean north of 10% or higher than 8% in the future?
Chair Gorsuch isn't here, but perhaps we could. Just depends.
I think they're just going by, they were going by what was given to them under the report. That would be my assumption on this. So it's not, because next year we're going to be doing this again.
Yeah, I think the recommendation, the way I understand it from what the chair and the rest of the committee said was they would like to go 8% this year, reassess next year, but it would not be more than, I don't believe it would be more than 10% next year.
Right.
It cannot be more than 10% next year. Or it can't be more than the Prop 218 rates.
It can be more than 10%. There's a rate cap. We have a rate cap, not a percentage cap.
I see. I was just thinking if, you know, oscillating between 8 and 12, keeping it more steady Eddie, but if there's a cap, thank you for reminding me.
The board has the discretion to adopt a lower rate than the Prop 218 notice, but not higher without doing another Prop 218 noticing process.
Understood. Thank you.
All right, I make a motion, we accept the recommendation from the finance committee for a 2026 fiscal year increase of 8%.
Not fiscal year.
With calendar year.
Begin January 1st.
Calendar year
Or rate increase?
of 8%.
I
second.
I would just perfect that for the record, that you would move to approve the resolution adopting the rates at the rate adjustment at 8%. And the resolution itself is the right year and all that stuff, has all that information.
As stated.
Okay.
That's my.
You got it?
Adopt the resolution with the rate adjustment, adopt the resolution as presented with the rate adjustment of 8%.
And I second.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Does it have to also say beginning January 1st?
No, that's in the
Because it's in the
resolution.
resolution.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Director Fisher,
Yes.
Director McDonald.
Aye.
Vice President Saunders,
Aye.
Treasurer Stovall,
Aye.
President Seaman.
Aye. Motion carried. So now we're up to,
Can I clarify something? What billing is that gonna be
It'll be the March billing. You won't see it from
for January, February?
And then Nancy, I think you'll send over some information
Thank you,
about
guys.
where we should be at.
Yes.
We could talk on offline, but I will look forward to hearing from you later.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Board of
thank
Directors.
you.
Mhm. Bye.
Okay, are we all settled back? Okay, now we're up to D. Consider an amendment to the employment agreement with the general manager. Frank,
Thank you, President Seaman. As permitted under the existing agreement, as it's been amended, upon a satisfactory performance evaluation, Mr. Schneider is eligible to receive a merit increase to his base salary. The proposed contract agreement provides for a 3.5% merit increase, discretionary increase, which would be effective on the anniversary date of his employment, August 18th. So accordingly, we have a simple proposed draft third amendment to the agreement that's been prepared, reflecting a 3.5% merit increase in this base salary. Now, this is why lawyers should never do that. Because I screwed up on the calculation. I inserted the 3.5% relative to his base salary on the second amended contract without factoring in the automatic CPI increase. So the 3.5% currently in the agreement, I drafted as $200,580. It actually should be $208,004.57.
$208,000.
$208,004, so 208,004 and 57 cents. And I apologize. I will never do math again.
He had an epiphany on the phone with me.
I actually learned certain things about how to do multiplication I never knew
Yes, you
before.
did.
It was pretty enlightening.
We should have had a talk before we got this far.
Yeah. So I apologize.
Any board comments? Ding, 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 ding. Okay, none
I
here.
wanna thank our general manager for the year's service, particularly proactivity with bringing in funding and your leadership. Thank you.
Do you have anything to say, Mr. Director McDonald?
I'd like to say ditto.
Well, I've reviewed multiple evaluations that we have put requests forward of how we wanted changes to be made. And we still have unprofessional actions like the eye rolling, huffing, commenting to an attorney when our GM doesn't like what he's being told or hearing. When we give direction, the board is giving direction for this general manager to move forward on items. He forgets, there's always an excuse. He doesn't complete assigned items. And he leaves some items to the last minute, so they become haphazardly done. His priorities, what I am seeing, especially by going to some of these meetings, is that we are not number one. Granted, his family should be number one, number two should be GPUD, but what we're seeing is priorities are made to Aqua and mountain counties. And we are paying for his time, and we are paying for his time to go to these meetings, to work for us, not necessarily volunteering our time to these different groups. That is something I see time and time again, where it's not really, it's putting him out there as a player, not finding us the funding by expending all these hours and hours and hours. It's not like when Director Saunders goes, we're basing his time on his, regular rate of pay, but we're paying, this gentleman in excess of $200,000 to do, be a volunteer for these organizations. I can tell you in the last 12 months of being president, I have had documents, either I don't get them or they're in conflict of each other. I continue to watch the eye rolling, and the poor behavior, towards our customers. There is a lack of professionalism, but when I go to these other organizations, it's a whole different person and the way he presents himself. And it kind of makes me sad that I'm going here and seeing this face, but what we have to deal with is another one. So in saying that, I also in 12 months have not been allowed to run my meetings. I am constantly interrupted. I am, then when I try to get control of the meeting, that I have let to him, he has, let the meeting go out of control. And then I get the chirping of having to try to pull the meeting back in and then get snapped at by multiple people in this building. And that is kind of hard to understand when the meeting had been given to him to run his little part and he let it get out of control with the public. So I cannot, in good faith, move forward with giving him any kind of an increase. Public comment. Sheree.
Okay, just for Frank. So you're saying the 208,000 is with the 3.5 increase
Correct.
and with July's COLA?
The 208,000 is the base salary. And then the COLA will be calculated, whatever COLA is calculated will be calculated on top of that.
So it's more than 200.
Correct,
Okay.
but the base salary that's that already comes into effect. That contract doesn't need to be changed to that effect. There will be a CPI that will go into effect annually regardless. The base salary is what is being changed here, and then the CPI just comes in on top of that.
So last year's CPI is included in this or no?
The CPI, yeah,
The
that's,
COLA.
yes, because
It's
that's
already
why,
in there.
that's why I did a math mistake. I
Okay.
didn't include that.
So the one in July 2025 is included
It is the base salary.
in the base salary.
No, the base salary is just the last salary plus the merit increase. Then the CPI will get calculated on top of that.
Okay, so we have 3 years of CPI that's not included.
No, I didn't say that. All I said was the CPI will get loaded onto whatever the base salary
So
is year over year.
Right.
So that will happen regardless of whether there's a raise or not. So all I'm just saying is the current salary, the current base salary is 208. Then the most recent CPI and only the most recent CPI will get attached to that.
And how much is that percent this year? Because it wasn't on the website.
2.8. Sorry, yeah, 3.7 was last year. 2.8.
2.8
So it's about 213,000.
plus 6,000 for a
No.
car.
No.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just talking about other benefits.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. I think you're talking about.
6,000 for a car, which
Whatever
is
the
actually
contract does.
calculated as income when you do taxes.
Mhm.
Is there anything else that's besides the car? So we're already up to 14.
I don't have this whole contract in front of me. I can just tell you that the base salary is what's the only thing that's being changed today.
Okay, but when you say base salary, that includes things, doesn't include everything. So it's hard for the public to understand what.
I
that
actually
salary
reject
is.
that characterization. It's hard for lay people to understand contract law, so I reject that characterization. The base salary is a technical term that is used to explicitly state what the base salary is, irrespective of any COLA or escalator or multiplier that gets attached to the contract by virtue of the CPI escalator in this case.
Okay, but you're
So it's
saying,
accurate, it's not misleading to suggest that this is a base salary. It's $208,000 and change. The CPI, by virtue of existing in another part of the contract, which we are not changing or amending today, will attach to the 208.
at
and
what
so-
point?
It'll attach the 208 going back to August of 2025. Like I said earlier,
Okay,
it's retroactive to his anniversary date.
and then next year that will become the base salary?
No, next year, the base salary in the contract will stay the same. If there is no merit increase, a new CPI will come on top of the 213.
Okay,
But the base salary will only change if the board changes the base salary
Okay.
via merit increase.
does the public understand exactly all of the compensation he's getting on a yearly basis? When you're not including CPI here and then there and, I mean, how do we get? Can I do a public
No, I mean,
request?
it is in all the contract documents.
But we don't know each year what the COLA is. It used to be on the website. It's not on the website.
Yeah, I don't know, how, you know.
How we're supposed to understand.
It's, you can estimate between 2% and 4%. That's a safe assumption.
Well, I know I can't go over 4, but.
Yeah, he has a maximum ceiling of, I think, 4% in his contract. Is it 5?
1 to 4.
And a floor of 1. So, but you can estimate it's probably between 2 and 4 most years, outside of the obviously extraordinary inflationary years we had a few years ago, a couple years ago.
Okay, because when you go on the public paid thing, it's for 2024.
Yeah, what I would say though is the CPI metric is explicitly stated in the code. That's available on a publicly accessible website. So that's the only place that we're getting that information is from the, I think it's the Department of Labor. So if you want to see, if anyone in the public wanted to know exactly what that CPI was, you could find it on Department of Labor's
So
website.
you're no longer including it on the website, because it has been every year.
I'm not doing anything. I don't know what or was not on the website. I'm just telling you where a member of the public could find it.
I, in my years here, I don't ever remember us putting the CPI on the website.
It was with the new salary increases.
So the salary increases change. We include a new salary scale.
I saw that.
So.
I did screenshots of it.
And I'm gonna tell you. The numbers that the staff gets are slightly different than what is included with mine because of the timing on when they're calculated. So it's close, but it's not the same. So you could, I'll have to go back and look at the website, and I'm not gonna say we don't do it. But we maybe used to do it. I don't have no problem including that, because it's part of their contracts as well. We can put that as this, salary scale includes a CPI escalator of X. It would be close to where mine would be, but sometimes it's more. Mine was less than the employees this year. It was less last year too.
Okay, so how do I get this information? So I have.
In my contract, which is on the website.
No, I want to know the actual numbers from the computer,
Wait.
your salary. And benefits.
In the contract.
Yes, but I have to do major calculate. Can I do it at 1099?
1099, what's a 1099?
It shows all your yearly income.
1099.
It's not
Private tax
1099.
You're not gonna get my tax information.
Not 10, yeah, you can. They did it, I've gotten.
I think you're asking for something that,
So it's-
the information is kind of out there. It is out there. If you go to the contract and pull down the contract, you'll see the numbers. But you're asking for extra work to be done to give you an exact number of everything, of all the benefits.
Yeah, what's the problem with that? I don't understand how that's not disclosed. Like you're hiding something.
All that information is not necessarily in one spot.
I'll just say that my contract is on the website. You can.
There's nothing secret about this.
Well, you don't know what the CPI is. I mean.
I never said that. And once again, you are mischaracterizing what I'm saying. I said it's available on the Department of Labor website, and the metric is explicit in the contract, and anybody can find that on the website.
Okay, what about W-4s with their personal?
That's
information?
that's personal tax forms. Those are not subject to Public Records Act.
I've gotten them before.
Oh,
I got 1099s not with social security numbers or addresses, name and benefits. There's gotta be something that shows that.
We don't have any 1099 employees. We don't have independent
W4, okay,
contractors.
W4.
Anyway, are there any other public, Ann?
So, back on performance, I just have to add to, Donna's frustrations, that I was extremely disappointed in what happened with the irrigation committee's forum that they sponsored and wanted to move forward, that we had people on the committee. I'm not on the committee at this point, but there were people on the committee that wanted to work on the forum and were turned away, and basically disenfranchised until it became a last minute throw together. I was not able to go to the committee or to the forum because we had other commitments. but the feedback that we heard, and certainly what Mr. McDonald said in the hearing was, when we talked about it afterwards, they talked about it afterwards, was that there was low attendance. The public didn't hear about it. I also had trouble getting flyers off of the website. The information just wasn't out there, and there were people on the irrigation committee who were ready and willing to work on it in July, in August. And Mr. Snyder kept pushing for, we don't need to have meetings. We don't have to have meetings. I'm gonna take care of this. I got this all covered. And then we came down to the end and it turned out in the final irrigation meetings that actually happened, that actually he had trouble making contact with people and a lot of stuff fell through the cracks. And, you know, it seems like there were some organizations that came and put on really wonderful presentations. Had people known about it, it might have been better attended. If you had actually draw in the irrigation committee who wanted to work on this, maybe we would have had a better product. Just as an observer, it's been a frustration that everybody was pushed away when they were wanting to work on this.
Thank you. Public comments are now closed. Mitch?
One quick comment, you could find the CPI on the Bureau of Labor Statistics website and also the Federal Reserve Board website for reference.
Thank you. Okay,
I have one thing on a lighter note. My group, small but we are now, has done such a good job. I promise them all a 20% increase.
great. Thank you. Director Saunders?
So some things, do we keep a list of all the employees, not by name, but their position, salary and benefits? Isn't that on the?
I mean, there's a document that we submit when we get PRA'd for it that goes to, there's a website that has all the information that's public.
Yeah, so maybe we can have, because I know most agencies you can find all of the employees by maintenance worker one, salary and benefits, so maybe that's something we can try and do. Then the other thing is, we're a government agency, so when the public wants to work on something, it's not like we can just have the public do it. There's actually forms that they have to fill out, volunteer stuff, and they have to get liability, as Cherie knows, when we were trying to do the what was that, the first strategic plan and all the surveys and stuff and all the forms that they tried to make you go through because there is actual regulations. I know you didn't sign them and then they didn't let you do it because you have to have signed these. So it's not like the public can just do stuff. The reason that we also have an issue is public relations and getting all that information out is difficult. And every year we try to we need like hire someone to do this public information because it costs money to have someone that's dedicated to do it. It's hard for the staff to do it directly, and that's an extra cost that we can consider that will easily get stuff out there. Each time the board is not happy or doesn't agree with that, and that's why we get what we get. So, I mean, you get what you pay for. Most of the larger agencies that have more people come out, they all have public information as officers. They have one person that just does PR and sends stuff out, and we don't have that here, and it's difficult. We still don't have everybody's email. Everybody signed up to the email. We know we have a difficult customer base, so we have to be very creative in making sure we put stuff out in multiple locations. So we need to utilize the paper, utilize Facebook, utilize post office. So there's just a lot that has to go into it, and we have to be cognizant of it. And as Director McDonald pointed out, there are some phones that don't open up the flyers and stuff that we use. So we have to work with IT to see what kind of pictures they're sending out to make sure it matches with everybody. This was actually the topic which was brought up. So this was just us giving some ideas for staff direction to move forward.
Yeah.
You got to read a page. I get to talk, Director, President. So, I mean, this is my comments. So.
Well, no, and I appreciate, your comments on that. The question, that there was other dynamics that you weren't privy to on what Ann was talking about. And that I understand, you know, where you were at on that. But, you know, a 2-hour call ahead of time that we gotta meet today was a little short notice. When there was the whole committee involved, and the committee was supposed to be, we as a board gave the direction to the GM to move forward with that and work with the irrigation committee on that subject. We gave them the direction. So that's just to clarify that.
Now that's your point of view on it, and I gave my point of view. Thank you.
Dr. Fisher.
You know, I just wanted to say, the very last item that we just approved, an 8% rate increase, was predicated on the receipt of grants to make up our capital improvement budget. What's not stated, because you can't put a number to it, is not being surprised by what Sacramento and Washington do to us in the form of unfunded mandates and legislation that sneaks through. To me, it's integral to the general manager's position to be involved with the trade organizations, with the legislative advocates. That's part and parcel to making the budget that we just approved. So that's my thoughts on his use of time with those organizations.
Okay, do we have a motion to move forward?
I make a motion to move forward with the agreed upon increase of 3.5% to the base salary.
Second.
Roll call vote, please.
Director Fisher,
Yes.
Director McDonald,
Aye.
Vice President Saunders,
Aye.
Director Stovall,
Aye.
and President Seaman,
No. Motion passed.
4-1.
Okay, it is now. Use my watch. 4:46, we're going to move into closed session. We removed that 6 PM number on our return time, so if you're interested in hanging
It'll be
somewhere,
quick. It shouldn't be very long.
that's what I'm trying to get to. So we will be moving into closed session. And we will notify you guys as best we can to when we come back. Thank you.
We're gonna take a break there. We're gonna go right into it. What do you want to do?
We are now on item number 10. Consider entering into a contract with Site Logic to procure solar equipment not to exceed $650,000.
So this item was brought to us at the last board meeting for direction. And because of the nature of this, it is a public hearing. So I'll do a quick presentation and then we'll open up a public hearing and then we can move forward. But more or less, the company, they are here. I'm going to give a primer if they have any questions for them. But what was presented last time was a 2-site solution, putting in solar at the Sweetwater plant and here at the headquarters building. It would include some EV charging stations. It would include a battery backup system. The total cost is approximately $3.7 million and some change. What we're asking today is for the board to approve approximately $565,000 to land some materials. Now in here, we're asking for $650,000, and that is only if you all decide to go with the 3-site solution, which does not exactly pencil out. But if you want to do 3 sites, I did leave it open for that. But I think the recommendation is to move forward with 2 sites and have this as a project moving forward. So I'll turn it over to Jessica Ritter from Site Logic. If she wants to add any color, we can do that. And then this also was discussed at the finance committee meeting. And if Steve makes it back, I'll let him speak. And if not, I can give the chairman's notes. Did you have a question? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, do we want to just have since we just heard it last month, do we want to just have any questions
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go through the whole, you heard it. I was just going to, make an adjustment to the 15% deposit for equipment has been adjusted down for the two site solution to $526,499.55. That would be to procure the materials to secure IRA. I can repeat that number again if you want to write it down.
526, what?
$499.55.
Almost.
526, 500.
You can round it.
I don't see why it was 500.
They stopped minting pennies, so.
And
They do that on these invoices, but they take it to the penny, so, but I'm also here to answer any questions that you have.
so, in the finance committee's recommendation was to move forward based on the two-site solution. And their thought process was either we pay for it in cash, which would be preferable, or if we have to, we could finance a portion of this. And make that a reality, but they recommended to pay for it in cash because then we would get more of the IRA money back. The total project after rebates, I'm gonna use the air quotes here, grant. It's not really a grant, it's, as I've been explained to by Jessica, it is a rebate of approximately $900,000. So we will outlay for the project, the whole amount, and once the project has been in, is it a year?
Correct.
So
Yeah,
once-
you receive the IRA in the year following construction completion.
And so that no money coming back to us, it's a little bit more than 900,000, or a little bit, it's right around the 900,000 ballpark. So the total project cost we're looking at is about $2.8 million. Now, with that, we're gonna offset approximately $250,000 to $300,000 in PG&E costs every year. So
What
that's,
was that, say that again?
which part?
How much we're gonna reduce?
The offset would be approximately 250,000 to 300,000. I could get you the exact calculation, but I'm ballparking that. And so that money would be utilized as a reduction in the expenses that we have. We could use that to, if we pay cash, we could put that back into whatever account we take the money out of. So that the return on the investment is not as long as it would be if we financed, and the return on investment would be good because we're reducing the expenses as we pay for this. So taking money to pay for this in cash was the recommendation for finance.
And we already got these numbers last meeting.
Correct.
Last month, we got all these numbers.
Apparently not, because they were lower, so.
By how much?
About 40,000. It was 565, I think, was what the original number
Right,
was.
but I'm
Yeah.
talking about the saving for a
Sure,
year.
yes,
Those were already capped out.
correct.
Yes, sir.
Do you, one of you remind me of the expected life expectancy and warranty on the equipment we're purchasing?
Yes, so for the solar panels, they're warranted for 25 years. That's through the manufacturer, which is Canadian Solar. The inverters are warranted for 15 years. And that's also through Canadian Solar. And the batteries have a warranty for 10 years. And then they are planned to be refurbished at around year 15, which is captured in the cash flow analysis.
Thank you.
And I believe there was some talk at the finance committee that was interesting of potentially buying extended warranties. And we were going to get some costs from SiteLogic when we finalize this, if that is a cost benefit to potentially have an inverter get an extended warranty, or if doing some sort of extended warranty for the battery. So that was one of the input items that the finance committee added. So we have looked to SiteLogic to procure extended warranties on some of the equipment, if we think it might pencil out.
And there was an expense on the maintenance costs that we pay the maintenance, that it's not part of the contract. That's an extra cost on top of it.
Correct.
That wasn't put in before.
Yeah, it's noted in the cash flow scenario, so you see what the true cost of ownership is and what that O&M will cost on a yearly basis, but it is a separate contract. And we like to do that just in case you decide at year 3, you just don't like us. You could always go with somebody else to operate and maintain the arrays for you, but that's one of the reasons why we do that. We don't want to tie you to us forever if you don't want to be.
But then how does that cover our guarantees.
It doesn't.
Well, it doesn't.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought. So that's kind of a,
However, I will say, Madam President, that there are several other companies like ours that would happily pick up your O and provide a guarantee. So we're not the only company in the world that does that. So I don't think you would be out of luck. We've done that for other customers as well. When they decide to break their O agreement with their ESCO provider, we will pick up that O agreement, provide those services and provide a guarantee.
no, but
So-
what I'm talking about is your 15 years, your 25 years, your 10
those-
years, whatever,
Those
those
are
are.
materials, those are your warranties for your materials and you own those warranties. But for the operation and maintenance and the performance guarantee, we do provide that, but if you ever decided, we just don't like SiteLogic anymore, you have the freedom and ability to get another company like ours to provide. If you wanted to. Am I explaining that correctly?
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then the only other thing, do you guys have anything?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
In looking at the PG&E bill for the Sweetwater plant, about half of it goes to Pioneer.
Uh-huh.
And about the other half goes for a multitude of other charges, you know, delivery charge and so on. And when you're coming up with a $250,000 to $300,000 a year savings, what portions of that bill will we continue to pay?
So you're going to continue to pay all of those soft costs that PG&E has, and those are, you have Pioneer as your power provider, but PG&E is the owner of all the infrastructure. So those transmission and distribution charges, those non-bypassable charges, those are charges that the district's always going to have, and no matter how much solar or battery you install, you cannot get around paying those. So those will always be there, and unfortunately, those will always continue to rise as well. The next giant wildfire there is, those are gonna rise again, because that's the only way that they can pay for those mistakes. So to answer your question, we can only offset your generation charges, right? Your usages. That's what your solar and batteries, that's how that will benefit.
Is the delivery charge that I look at on that bill a ratio of what is delivered? And kind of the analogy I use is water. Well, we have the pipes and what I pay for is how much water goes through, but I still gotta pay a flat fee for the pipes. Is it the same way with PG that regardless how much of electricity, we have a fixed cost for them?
I wish I could answer that question for you, but I don't want to give you the wrong answer.
Okay,
I want to say that it's a flat rate that PG&E has the ability to increase at will. But I don't want to misspeak here. I don't think it is a percentage.
yeah, you're
of what
not
you-
from PG&E, so.
Yeah, I'm
I
not.
understand. Okay.
And their rules are changing all the time, so.
Are you,
I
Gretchen
would just,
Markey?
yeah, Gretchen Marks, sorry for all the millennials and Gen Z below me that have no idea what I'm talking about. But I was just gonna add on with Robert, like when you use less energy, you do see your bill go down, so you don't really know which is the fixed charges based on what your electric delivery charge is, so. Yeah, that's a good question.
Madam President, I believe Director McDonald has his hand raised.
Director McDonald,
And Director McDonald, you're muted stuff.
There we go. I believe you, in your document, you said about a 1% degradation rate. Is that correct?
0.5% per year.
1%?
0.5% per year.
0.5%?
Correct.
0.5.
0.5.
Yeah, that's okay. That's the average is 0.5, 0.3 to 0.7. Okay, I just wanted to verify that. And the and it used what amount for PG&E increases over that time frame, an average?
We were conservative at 6%.
Oh, that's very conservative. Okay, thank you very much.
Steve, do you have anything to add to this?
No, I walked in the middle, so I'll
Okay.
get that later.
All right,
So it is a public hearing, so we would like to open a public hearing, hear from the public, and then the board
that's what I
can
was going to just start doing.
apologize.
Are there any more board comments, questions?
Just a comment on the PG&E bill, it's gone up 70% in the last 5 years, so I would say 6% is incredibly.
Okay, I'm opening up this hearing for public comment at this time. Sheree?
Okay, so when the 25-year
Can
guarantee.
you say a time that you opened it? I believe it's 5:35.
At 5:36, I am opening this board meeting up for public comment on this subject.
Okay.
Cherie, would you please speak?
The 25-year guarantee. There's a problem. Who repairs it? The Canadian company?
I'm sorry, I interrupted. No, it's okay. The 25-year is a warranty for Canadian Solar, right? So the performance guarantee is a separate thing.
Right.
If you're talking about the warranty, the manufacturer will honor their warranty for 25 years. If the item or if the solar panel is found to be defective, right?
Right.
Say a bird comes and drops a rock and cracks a panel, right? Or a tree falls and breaks 5 panels. That would not be a manufacturer warranty. That was not a defect of theirs. That would be covered under the district's insurance policy.
Okay. And then the 15-year refurbishment, who pays for that?
So the district will be paying for that cost since you own the batteries. That's their
That
asset.
included in,
We do show that cost in the cash flow, right? To show that true cost of ownership, we do estimate that cost at year 15. But that is a district borne cost.
okay. And on the internet, on Facebook, there's all kinds of people that have solar and they're complaining about Pioneer, that they're not getting the value. So they're switching, people who have solar switch over to PG&E. They're saying they get better, true ups or whatever.
Interesting. So with Pioneer, as the CCA, they do honor PG&E's net metering policies
Okay.
when it comes to solar. Now, I don't work in the residential solar realm. I never have. I've only worked in the public
Right.
sector. So I don't know if that is true for residential. Where I live, it's PG&E. We don't have a CCA choice, so I don't think I can help you with that.
Okay, well, it just seems like they, don't like it, so they've been switching back to PG&E.
That makes
I mean,
Pioneer's
Pioneer's better for me, but it's.
Okay, are there any other public comments?
Oh, where's the money coming out of it when you take this money out of it? Have we been told?
The money for the 500,000 will be coming out of the CIP reserves right now. And we're going to assess where we can, when we have some more information, probably in the new year, we'll decide where to pay for the rest of this. It's gonna be on hold for now.
But once you agreed to do this 500,000, you're stuck.
We are locked in, yes. We have some funding that we have applied for, so we're hoping to get some of that funding into the district. So
Grant.
sorry?
Grant,
Yes.
so you're gonna approve this and not know where all the money's coming from?
We have 3 years to complete the project, so I'm confident that we'll find some money within 3 years to complete the project.
Grant.
I'm confident that we will find the money to pay for this within 3 years.
Any other public comment? I am closing public comment. 5:39 PM. I did have questions, and I'm not sure if I asked this before. If you guys have anything, I'm sorry. Our warranty, are these companies, how solvent are these companies? Because it's irrelevant if I have a 25-year guarantee, a warranty, and the company goes out of business in 5 years. And then yeah.
So to answer that question, yes. So one of the reasons we chose Canadian Solar was for that reason alone. We've been working with them for, I want to say, almost 15 years, providing panels and inverters to our clients. And so, of course, over those years, we've had several warranty issues. It just happens, right? And they have been very good at honoring those. Now, that is not the cheapest panel you could have, right? There are much cheaper brands that we could have selected for this project. But we put our name behind everything that we design and we build. So it's a risk on us if we were to install a cheap, there's, I don't know, 24 cheap different types of panels that we could have put in here. But yeah, but one of the reasons we chose Canadian Solar is because of their warranty and honoring that warranty.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's go again. Are we gonna do something to insure the system, or is there some way that we're going to, if we have a tree wipe out, 30 panels and basically shut our system down, Because at that point, we're gonna be shut down.
Yeah.
Is there some kind of what are we gonna put in place to protect our investment?
So the JPIA liability insurance will cover the new facilities.
Okay, and then let me go all Mitch on this. What if we're pulling the money out before we hit the end of the year where we get our interest, what is that loss gonna look like?
We accrue we don't accrue like at the end of the year like that. We're constantly accruing. What is that called? Who's an accountant in the room? Compounding interest, sorry. We are compounding interest. I apologize for not knowing the term. So we are not, it's not like, you have to have X amount of dollars at the end of the year, and then they give you the money. We have a calculation for every day that we get. or
And
every
there's some
month.
that have a penalty on it too.
We don't have, so that if you pulled money out of a CD, which I'm not, looking to pull something out of a CD. I apologize. We are going to pull it out of we have some money in the class that's part of the CIP reserve that we utilize, and so we'll pull it out of there. And then when we start having the offset of the power generation costs, we will then offset that money back into CIP. So we'll put the money back into CIP that we took out.
And then are we gonna have some kind of a document in place so that it documents this payback into that system, so it doesn't get lost somewhere down the line, like what happened with Sweetwater?
I'm not sure what happened with Sweetwater, so I won't speak to
Well,
that.
we can talk about the fact that, we're pulling money out of here, making a statement, we're going to be investing it back into the account to pay it back. So besides this,
Sorry,
talk to me.
I'm dying over here.
Supplemental fee, is that what you're talking about?
No, something in writing somewhere that says that we're gonna pull this money out and we're gonna put this money back. Besides here, talk to me.
Yeah, we wanna have the record, the fund transfer, that's what we want, so make sure that we don't have fund transfer and budget,
Line item, yeah. So it sees, it all goes back and forth.
When we bring the item for full purchase, I will include that. Because it will,
Well, the purchase is gonna be 526,000 in
I'm talking,
4 days. So
no,
at that point,
I mean. I don't know if you can make a motion, I'm happy to bring it back next month and show you. Where we will put the money back. I have water, I have a cough drop too.
what, suck the cock up.
Sorry, apologize.
Okay,
I mean. I know you're not gonna like this, but I give you my word that we will put something together to bring that money back and put it, I understand, and I don't have that today. But what I'm
Okay.
offering is to bring it back to you in January when we have the ability to do this.
okay, cause we've lived through this and we don't wanna go again.
You give us Frank word, cause Frank is.
Well,
Say a lot.
I just felt the bus drive over me about 3 times, but thanks.
Let's say a lot considering there's a lot of lawyer jokes now.
Used car salesman over there.
As long as there's no
I'll do
drag
that.
involved.
The contract.
Yes, I understand. And then if we can do when we do the full purchase, I'll include that as well. So you'll have everything.
Okay, I think looking up into the sunset. Do we have a board recommendation here? Any more questions? Any something here?
Questions, so did the motion just be to approve the contract with,
It's approve the resolution. I would just approve the.
alright, so to approve the letter of agreement between Site Logic and GPEP. And, approve the resolution.
I second.
Roll call vote. I was reading the blueprint here.
Director Fisher,
Yes.
Director McDonald,
Aye.
Vice President Saunders,
Aye,
Treasurer Stovall,
Aye.
and Seaman.
I think I.
I'm sorry. Do the best I can over here.
Aye,
Okay,
motion passes. Okay. There we go. We're up to board reorganization. The election of officers for the calendar year, president, vice president, treasurer. Thank you. And Steve's moving up.
Staff presentation on this, or we're just going into nominations?
Oh, I was gonna leave this to you all. If you would like me to say something, we had put together a policy back a few years ago that shows a general rotation through as board members. The natural change would be the vice president goes to the president. The the treasurer goes to the vice president position, and then the president falls to becoming a at-large director. It is strictly a recommendation. It is nothing set in stone. It is up to the board fully on how they would like to proceed with those nominations.
And considering the last 2 years, president has sat for 2 years, or last 2 evolutions. So. It is the pleasure of the board.
I would like to nominate Director Saunders for the position of president.
I will accept nomination.
I second.
I think he was, it's not a motion, he was just saying. He was just speaking to it.
We need to vote on each one.
We should vote on. We should do a motion
For each one,
for president and the vice president. Yes,
And
in turn or all together.
Or to be all
in
positions.
turn, in
Yeah.
turn, yeah.
Okay, we have, excuse me. We're having a motion to, for board president.
That always make it as a motion.
Yeah, well, those are just a nomination.
It's the nomination that we're going to vote on.
Any other nominations?
Are there any other nominations? What are you looking at me like that?
You're in control. I mean, you.
Well, I
you say what's
did
next.
that, so
Okay.
there's no other nomination. So I guess by, what do you want to say, acclamation?
We could just say, can somebody make a motion? I would just ask somebody to make a motion.
Okay, can we make a motion?
I make a motion that we select Director Saunders as president of GDPUD.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call vote.
Director Fisher,
Yes.
Director McDonald,
Aye.
Vice President Saunders,
Aye.
Treasurer Stovall,
Aye.
and President Steele.
Aye. Vice President,
I would like to nominate Andy Fisher. With a couple comments. I'll leave it there for now.
I would like to
Victor,
logistically, I believe that Director Stovall would be better suited to handle the weekly demand of that position, but I support his nomination. If it's a little clumsy, but I support either one of those two for the position if it works out.
Can you just state what position? I think you might have broken up for half a second there.
he said D and or.
I could support Director Fisher if Director Stovall is okay with where he's at, if that's appropriate to say.
I think you could just say which position so we're clear.
Vice president.
Vice President.
It's only for vice president, to Robert, that position.
Do I accept Vice President as a nomination?
Yes,
No.
okay, well, let's cross that one out.
Well, then I support the nomination.
We have a motion for
Just asking.
Andy.
If you
Well,
accept
Andy,
If
that.
you
you
accept
want-
that, sure, if that's really the way you want it, because I'm the
That's the
same.
bigger picture I'm looking at.
Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we select Director Fisher as Vice President
Second,
of GDP.
And I second.
thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Director Fisher,
Aye.
Director McDonald,
Aye.
is it still Vice
Still
President
Vice
Saunders?
President.
Yeah.
Okay, Vice
No.
President Saunders,
Until January.
Treasurer Stovall,
Aye.
and President Seaman.
Aye. So now we have treasurer.
So if you're not
I'll just say that.
willing to be the V, I would nominate you for treasurer.
I accept that.
Do we have a second motion? Or are there any other nominations for treasurer?
As far as treasurer, I'm closer to the district office, I think, than any of the board members.
Not a factor.
That's not a factor, but
When I was treasurer, I drove it, not a factor.
yeah, so it's very convenient for me to stop by every Thursday and sign checks, and that's something that I have on it. Would like to continue in that position.
I support you. I mean, the thing with treasurer is it's really good for especially new board members that come on to do that role so they can see every check and they can really go into it, especially when you come from the public. That's a really important job, and the treasurer is enlightened to a lot of things. And he's come from the finance committee, so he already has a good background.
Are you getting to a second?
I will approve Robert staying on, so I will second, yes.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Director Fisher,
Yes.
Director McDonald,
Aye.
Director Saunders,
Aye.
Director Stovall,
Aye.
Director Seaman.
Aye. That's everybody. Okay, you're slate in place for January. Okay, so we're up to finance committee. Board liaison. So that leaves Stovall will be on. Finance committee and one other person on for the finance committee.
Would you accept a nomination for continuing in that position?
I would accept.
Ding, ding, ding. My brain.
I make a motion that Stovall and Sanders continue to be board liaisons for the finance committee.
Second?
Vote.
Director Fisher,
Yes.
Director McDonald,
Aye.
Director Saunders,
Aye.
Director Stovall,
Aye.
Director Seaman.
Aye.
Can you repeat the first and second, please?
It's Stovall first, Saunders second.
Second.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, you had second?
Second.
Yeah. For irrigation committee,
Not on here.
I
Yeah.
nominate both Director Seaman and Director Fisher to be on the nominate committee as
B.
board liaisons. It's
Oh,
B.
yeah.
11B.
Do you accept?
I accept. Do you accept?
I accept.
All right.
Motion,
I'd like to make a motion that Director Seaman and Director Fisher be the liaisons for the irrigation committee.
we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Uh-oh,
Working, I don't know what's going on here. I got,
That for your computer side, or is this one, sorry?
sorry, we have a junction thing under here that keeps breaking. I can get yours back. I'm so sorry.
Can we hear Mitch?
He's
Yes,
still there.
I'm here.
Okay.
Power to? Or is it just that HDMI?
oh, we got it on one side. Okay, never mind.
We're working on
Okay, so we have a roll call
We
vote.
have enough for a roll call vote.
I need a roll call vote.
What's
Sorry.
it, what's it for?
Director Fisher,
Yes.
Director McDonald,
Aye.
Director Saunders,
Aye.
Director Stovall,
Aye.
Director Seaman.
Aye. Appointing legislative liaison for 2026.
If anybody else wants to really do it, I will.
Are you interested in it? You're doing such a great job.
Yeah, I nominate, Director Saunders to maintain that position.
So the first,
We have enough, that's
Is
fine.
that a motion?
I'll nominate, yeah.
That's a motion, I'll second it. Yeah, it's a.
Okay, roll call vote.
Do you mind repeating the motion, please?
The motion is to have Director Saunders as the legislative liaison for 2026. Motion by Director Stovall, second by Director Fisher.
Thank you. Director Fisher,
Yes.
Director McDonald.
Aye.
Director Saunders,
Aye.
Director Stovall,
Aye.
and Director Seaman.
Aye.
I apologize, you guys are going very fast and there's a lot of typing.
Sorry.
I can do the roll call. I'll do the roll call. for
Yes, sir.
may I make a suggestion for D, since these are probably pretty routine, we'd probably get the names and then do one vote on this vote at the end.
Are you trying to get things quick?
I'm just trying to help.
Frank?
I'm trying to help the meeting be
Frank?
efficient, that's all.
The answer you're looking for is yes, he wants to get out of here quicker.
Too bad. El Dorado County Water Agency, EDWA. Do we have a,
Just to preface that, we do not have an open seat, but if a seat becomes available, that person would then be seated.
when does it come available?
I believe
Because it
it's-
should be close.
I believe it's 27. 4 years. It's 4 years. And then we get 2 years and then it's 4 years. It's a weird.
So we can kind of set that one back. Regional what?
Well, no, you should
But we
just
still need a person.
just put a name so that at least you have somebody in case there could be a potential opening at any point. Cause if EID says, no, we don't want it, then we would take that spot.
Does anybody want it?
I'll nominate Director Saunders.
He's already got.
I will give it to anybody else that wants. to do
Yeah,
that.
we keep throwing things at him and that's not gonna work. I'll take it.
It has in the past.
No, I gave that one up. I gave that to our fearless, director Thornborough last time.
You wanna do it?
Sure, I'll take it,
Alright.
because it's not gonna do
She was the
anything.
alternate last time. so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I second the motion for Director Seaman.
Roll call vote.
Nope, we're doing,
All at the end.
Oh, I'll do it.
Per Frank.
Sir.
Mountain counties,
So you're already the representative. We can just continue with Donna as because she is already on the board.
agree.
What do we
Okay.
talk about? The regional we're talking about?
Mountain counties.
Item D.
okay, then
What
it,
about RWA, do we do our?
Yeah.
So we already have Saunders. He's gonna just be, he's the chairman of the board, so I think he has to continue forward.
And, we have,
hold on. I got my notes.
we have the second staff
So
there.
you're on RWA,
We have him.
okay, and then Aqua and JPIA,
So Stovall is the current sitting board member and Director Saunders is the alternate. So if you want to continue with that slate, it's up to you all as a.
That's good one.
If anybody else wants to be the alternate for JPIA, but I am the aqua person, so I'm always there as well.
You're there.
Second word motion.
But if someone wants to do JPIA, it's a good, it shows you all of the insurance and the benefits and all of that stuff, so.
That'd be a good break in, if you're interested in paying in that. Oh, sure,
does that mean you want it?
sure. Okay, good.
Okay,
It's good exposure.
so we have El Dorado County Water Agency, me. Regional Water Authority, Michael, Mountain Counties Water Resource, blah, 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 Donna. And then Aqua and JPI, Stovall and Andy. Do I have a motion to accept this slate?
So moved.
Second,
Roll call vote, Director Saunders,
aye.
Director Stovall,
Aye.
Director Fisher,
Aye.
Director McDonald,
Aye.
and Director Seaman.
Aye, I've been doing this.
I'm just helping her because she's typing all this out and I think it's, she's got a million things going on and I can.
Got
do
it, okay.
one.
I just heard the other voice.
Really don't wanna re-listen to a 6-hour meeting.
She could do 999,000 things. I'll do the one.
Okay.
So it's only been
Appreciate
I
4
was
hours.
still complaining about my cookies getting.
For the record, it's only been 4 hours. not
I've been
6
complaining
hours.
when you don't bring cookies anymore.
You wanna know why? We'll have a talk. Now we're up to, consideration and adoption of the regular meeting schedule.
I do have an amendment to the one that was posted online, so I'll just for the public. There was some on the counter over there. We had two typos. One was October 7th was the meeting for October, and that is the first Wednesday, so we had to move that to October 14th. And then November, the second Wednesday is Veterans Day, and I don't think that anybody is gonna come here on Veterans Day. So we're proposing to move it to the third Wednesday, the 18th of October, of November, excuse me. But I have this, it is on the table if anybody wants it from the public. It will be posted on the website for next year.
And then January irrigation committee might be.
We do not have an irrigation committee meeting in January. That is one. That's a dark month for them.
Okay.
Right, and we're gonna have a meeting, it'll be on the regular board meeting agenda for discussion of
Oh,
that.
I see.
Okay,
I had a discussion if we wanted to consider Tuesday instead of Wednesday.
but do we have to put that on an agenda item to be able to do those?
I think we're discussing it now, so
We can discuss it, we can't,
we can't vote.
we can't vote on it. We're
That's what I was
discuss
gonna
it.
add to the,
Changing the meeting date.
are we done over here? Okay,
If I recall, one of the reasons we chose to move it to a Wednesday was to get the information out to the board.
Dan wasn't coming.
but that's not happening. So,
So wait a
right,
minute.
I
I think we're doing pretty good at getting the information out to you
Yeah.
by Friday.
Yeah, I like getting the information and having the weekend to work on it and having a couple days before the board meeting to polish up everything, so
well,
that's my argument to keep it on Wednesdays. As I
well, if
said,
it comes out on Friday, Tuesday wouldn't have an effect on that. Would it?
I'm saying I like the other day, the extra day.
Okay.
Can I ask what the need is?
He had to
There was a meeting was moved to Wednesday for Marshall Hospital, but I will just switch off on that. And if Edward switches, then someone does.
It was in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. On Wednesday.
It's in El Dorado Hills, it's not that far, but.
Okay, then are we good with this? Okay,
With Thursdays, we
Let's do, should we make a motion to
No,
adopt.
Thursday was
calendar?
RWA.
Sorry,
Good,
sorry.
excuse me.
Sorry.
This
'Cause you
is my
said-
last hurrah, I better.
Sorry, because you said, are we good with this? I thought you were saying we're done.
No, I'm good with
Oh,
listening to them right now.
okay.
Public, do you have any comments on
Madam
any of the
President.
items that we just went over?
Madam President, you have a hand raised from a director on some might have been raised.
Oh, excuse me. Director,
It's not directly related to what Director Siemens talking about. I just wanted to be heard before the end of the meeting. Thank you.
oh, well, we can do that. Okay, back to public comment. Do we have any public comment on 11? Any of the items on 11?
Well, you're not done. You still have two more or one more item.
Okay.
Well, we went past the schedule.
That's E.
That sounds like it is remaining the same.
You
Do we
said
wanna-
all of
Do we
11.
want a roll call vote on this?
Yes.
Yes, sure.
Okay, roll call vote,
Director,
or I should say a motion and a second to accept
Can I
the,
just make a comment? I can't make a comment on that,
nope, not yet.
but I should have time.
before you can vote on it, she has to,
No, because we're doing them all.
so we're not voting right
And
now.
you can't.
no, I don't think so.
I would just take her comment, any public comment on any of the items on 11 now.
But we already went through them all.
It's okay, let's just do it then.
That
Okay.
needs to have the times on, it. Why do we not have?
All the times are 2:00. We will add that on there.
And then put it on the website.
This will be on the website under board meetings.
Okay, can I have a motion to accept the board schedule as,
Motion
yeah,
to accept the board schedule with the two typos corrected that for October and November.
Second with the addition of the time.
Roll call vote is Director Saunders.
Aye.
Director Stovall,
I,
Director Fisher,
Aye.
Director McDonald,
Aye.
and Director Seaman.
aye. Okay, the last one is consider conference schedule, board members' attendance.
Got in the packet.
So we have,
We have names in there. So we don't have anything?
So we have Aqua in February, we have Aqua in May, we have CSDA in August, we have CSDA in September, and we have Aqua JPIA Fall Conference in December. Do we have a motion to accept these conferences for future board attendance?
I believe, do we have to put the board members in them now as well?
I think they're in there.
We don't have names in here, but
Yeah,
you just have blank sheets.
correct.
I will,
So I would say that has to be voted on in January. of where we're going. So we're voting on these as a scheduled.
And I would say what's missing, what's on the paper that's missing on the staff one is, so it does have, the federal affairs.
Federal affairs is supposed to be on there, yeah.
Which is what and how much?
That's,
Or do we need to move it to another?
February 650. It's on the next page.
Oh, it's here, but not on that here. Here we go again.
Hopefully our EA will be on top of this.
I think she will.
So do we have a motion to accept this schedule?
We
With
make a
the,
motion to accept the schedule, which we will vote on the directors in January.
I second it.
thank you.
Mhm.
Roll call vote, please.
Director Saunders,
Aye.
Director Stovall, excuse me. Director Fisher.
Aye.
Director McDonald
Aye.
and Director Seaman.
Aye. Okay, now can I go to the public comment? Do you have any comments on any of the items?
Yeah, like I said, there are member names,
So we didn't accept any board members. There's no board members that
but
are
these are just blank.
correct.
This is what will be just, it will go on the January.
Okay.
So,
Now, I was my own question.
okay, so now we're up to board member requests for additional future meeting agendas.
Check if he has
Oh.
something.
Do you have something for the board meeting?
Not about
Future
the board,
agenda?
not about the board meeting, but I want to say something to the board members before you close.
Okay, well, I'm not up to that point, but
Okay, thank you.
we'll show on my list.
Okay.
Have any items, Robert?
No, sir.
I have two items. So one is alignment of policies. This came from the JPIA to match employee and board. So look at the policy in regards to reimbursement to align these to see if it needs to be aligned that the employee and the board matches in certain areas. Just like we had alignment of the finance and irrigation committee. We want to make sure there's certain areas that legally match with employee and board. So based on JPIA, I recommend we bring this back to look at in
Okay.
January. Well, sometime in the next 3 months based on it. And to also consider if we want to do a board worker appreciation for anniversaries that end in 5, like 5, 10, 15, 20
For the board members,
for the staff.
Steph.
So just honoring those employees that have been here on their 5th anniversary, something that the board can do. Because we usually see them on their way out, like thank you when they were
Yeah.
leaving, so to kind of do that during their time.
We have 2 people coming up on 15.
And that's all I have.
Anybody else? Okay, we need, next meeting, we need the strategic planning document review. Update on SB 707.
Is that, are you asking for an action item or just an update from like Frank as an informational item?
Well, strategic is an
I
action
just,
item.
I know strategic plan, I was asking about 707.
SB 707, if we have to do anything to move forward, then it could be an action item, depending on if we have to change any documents or make any changes in anything. As it gets,
I think we have to make those changes before January, so they will be we will legally be required to make.
So let's have a
Let me get-
I'll just do an update. I don't believe the things that require action require board action. So for
Okay.
example, one of the requirements is all the foreign elected and appointed officials are required now to receive a physical copy of the Crown Act. So we will do that. But it won't necessarily require board action.
And committee members?
Appointed officials as well, yeah, so committee members.
Right, so that,
The previous language said they, like, May was like, it wasn't mandatory, now it's mandatory.
right,
So, and we'll provide probably an electronic copy of that for everybody.
so that would be a potential action item, but it's probably more of an information.
It's informational, 'cause it's
So-
administrative,
Either or.
yeah.
Are we checked in here?
Yeah, no, I have it all. written down.
Okay, and then the irrigation committee update on that they've received their documents of the new irrigation committee updates. Who's resigned, who hasn't, information going out on committee members once we have, we know, we need more people in.
Possible appointments.
Yeah, possible appointments, and they can get their information to us. If we already have somebody who has applied, I guess maybe at that point, we could also be having that information and we could do an interview with them at that time.
I have that on my list. I already had it on my list beforehand, so yeah, so we're good.
Okay. I guess I go to Mitch right now.
Yeah, I wanted to thank all the board members for pulling most of the load this coming year for the committee assignments and the officer positions. I'm in a bit of a power save mode, so I want to be here where and when I can available. And so I just wanted to thank you guys for stepping up to the plate. I was all in the first term, but it's a little harder for me now. So I want to personally thank you in front of the public to let you know my appreciation to you guys. So thank you.
Okay, do I need, I guess, any public info? Oh, you have something also? I'm
Yep.
sorry.
I just wanted to thank our board president for a year. I know it's always hard when you come in the first time, and we have a great public that we also have to work with as well. So thank you for that. And I know it's always a challenging job, especially when we're working with changes with staff and trying to get stuff in, and things always coming at the last minute. So it's always a interesting thing. But thanks for the work you did, and continue to see you on the board.
I second that.
Thank you. Do we have any public before we don't need a public? Okay. Our next meeting date is January. Is that what I'm saying? January 14th at 2 p.m. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I don't think we need a motion.
Just adjourn there.
We can do it just for fun, but I think this will be the last time.
You just bang the gavel and you can have the power one last time.
You wanna just bang the gavel,
Okay.
we can do it.
No.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Time out, 6:14 p.m.
You gonna bang the gavel?
No.